Yeah, it's just a show it off right there.
Okay, I'm going to turn it off then.
And we welcome you tonight to the Keith Gilbertson Senior Sports and Fitness Center at Snohomish High School. It's the 2018 Panther Wrestling Classic. Hello, everybody. Tom Lafferty along with state championship wrestler and national anthem singer. Just got done. Joshua St. Marie making his way up here after singing the anthem. Steve Willis is down on the sidelines or on Matt's side tonight. The 36th Annual Panther Classic, founded by wrestling coach Ed Lucero, SHS principal Ray Johnson back in the 1980s. We're ready to go. Todd Elvig at the controls for STSPN. And we're going to have the finals getting underway here for the Panther Classic. They run a smooth tournament here. It runs all day long. And here at just about 4:30 or just after 4:30, we're ready to go. They're introducing the consolation matches will be going on as well. But in the first match here of the evening, it's the 106. And it's going to be David Heiss of Arlington. And actually, that's going to be, we're going to give it to you as we go here, as they turn off the lights to introduce, which is really cool, but doesn't do much for reading the notes. So here we go for the championship match from Arlington, Caston Tolinar, and also from Arlington, it is Daniel Heiss. So they're on the center mat, and we are set to go. It's Arlington against Arlington, Josh.
Yep. Sometimes that happens. You know, there's 16 teams that come to the bracket, but not every team has a full roster. So
right.
If there's a couple empty spots, coaches will bring their JV guys that are just a little bit right close to varsity. They'll come and compete. And sometimes you've got two guys who go at it in the room and make each other better. And this is that kind of match.
And how much and you've probably done it where you wrestle a teammate later and in a tournament, do you go at it just as hard, or is it because you know him so well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a little bit of knowing how the match is going to go, but just because you wrestle them so often in the room, you know what they do, who usually wins the match. That's often not going to change, but whoever's more ready to go in the moment, they're going to win the match. Okay,
so I'm getting corrected here. Reese LeCompte is the wrestler, as I had written it down wrong. Here's a shocker. I was wrong. So we'll get the information here all correctly. We got the consolation and the first place. The first place match is Heiss. So it is Daniel Heiss of Arlington. I had just written the wrong one. Reese LeCompte. Okay, we're good.
Versus Edmonds Woodway.
Of Edmonds Woodway. Reese LeCompte coming in.
But that's still something. That's still something to note. The Arlington JV guy made it all the way to the semifinals, and he was one match away from facing his varsity counterpart in the finals. It does happen. Yeah. But this is Daniel Heiss of Arlington. Heiss coming in as the number 4 ranked 3A wrestler in the state of Washington, and Reese LeCompte from Edmonds Woodway, the number 5. So 4 against 5, not bad here on this opening match at 106 in the Panther Classic. Yep. These are the fun ones. When you get to the finals, you get the guys that are going to be gunning for each other in the state tournament in February. And these are the ones you want to go to wrestle. You come to these tournaments to face these guys.
To face the best, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And with the two guys out of the 3A knowing each other, you know that they've wrestled or will wrestle in the regular season, right?
Yeah, good chance these guys know each other and have wrestled each other before,
Also in the summer.
Yep.
And in the districts last year.
Yep.
And maybe in the state, and it's on and on and on.
Yep. So far we got the Arlington guy. He got a takedown.
Right now the officials having a discussion over there. So they have 2 referees, the main and then just a standby. So here we go. Now back to action. A 1-0 lead for the wrestler from Edmonds Woodway.
2-1. Yep.
2-1 now. At the end of round number 1 in the championship here at 106.
Yep. We were talking so much about Arlington on Arlington. I didn't catch what happened there, but a 2-point, somebody must have gotten a takedown.
Right.
But with with one guy on top and one guy on bottom, there must have been some sort of technical foul or.
Okay, so my next question was going to be about the well-oiled machine here, except for the opening here on STSPN, getting the wrong wrestler, but it really is. It goes so well, and they've here in the finals, and usually that they'll fold the bleachers back out and have on both sides, but they've decided not to tonight. More space to warm up. And honestly, a lot of folks, I think when their wrestler was done, let's go get a pizza and watch the Seahawks playoff game.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of people in the stands feel that way, but in the wrestling community, it's, wrestling all the time. There's a lot of football fans, but, when it's wrestling on Saturday, there's, they'll DVR it and watch it later.
I was going to say, that's what the DVR is for.
Yeah.
So this is Daniel Heiss of Arlington. It's Reese LeCompte of Edmonds Woodway. And that is a 1-point escape, so we're all tied up at 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, Heiss out of Arlington, ranked number 4 in the state. So 2-point takedown there.
Yep.
For LeCompte for the Edmonds Woodway Warriors.
Yeah, the Arlington guy tried to throw a head and arm there, and Edmonds Woodway just ducked behind and got control for 2.
Usually the smaller guys, the 106, really are. This is kind of a slower than a lot of the 106s you watch.
Lower scoring, but you get that as the wrestlers get better, the higher the talent level, and there's a little bit less scoring.
But I tell you what, the Daniel Heiss is not allowing him to make any kind of a turn. He's just got opened up the wingspan.
Yeah, but he's got to start working to his feet. I hear that nowadays they're starting to call stalling quite a bit.
Really?
Quite a bit more frequently. So
a 4-2 lead for LeCompte over Daniel Heiss. We go into the third round.
We are. These are moving pretty quick. Going to the third round, it was Arlington's choice, and he chose neutral, which is pretty unusual. The easiest position to score is generally considered bottom because you can get away real quick for 1 point, and then you're on your feet. Or you can reverse and get 2. So coaches usually will have you.
Is that your decision or coach's decision?
Ultimately, as far as the referee is concerned, it's up to the wrestler.
No,
However.
Right. Coach will say up or down.
Yeah.
Or
you're going to hear about it if you're not looking to the coach and doing what he says.
And is that something, okay, you want a state championship, you have more free reign than the freshman kid for what you're going to do.
Or, you win a state championship, your coach knows best. So you're more likely to listen to your coach.
There's that too.
It really depends on the coach-wrestler relationship and the dynamic in the room.
So Reese LeCompte of Edmonds Woodway with a 6-2 lead. We're halfway through the third period. Third round here, 106, the opener of the Panther Classic.
Yeah, which is interesting because Heiss started off the match with the takedown.
Right.
And LeCompte has just come back, not quitting. Has control right now.
It just seems like, how far do you have to be off the mat? Referee's decision, referee's judgment.
It used to be 2 points of contact it used to be 2 points of contact, but now 3 points of contact, and they'll call it out.
Okay.
Yep. I believe that was a change in the last year.
30 seconds to go. We've got a reverse here, so 4 points now.
Yeah, but he's down by 2 points, and he's only got 30 seconds to score, or the match is over. He's got to cut him and try and take him to his feet. Either that or go for the pin.
He's working hard. Suddenly he's working. He's got LeCompte back. He's going to get at least some near fall points. Is he going to win it? Is he going to get 3?
He's got 3.
If he gets 3, he's going to win.
He's got the win.
The official won't signal it until he sees whether or not it's going to be a pin or not. This is kind of an interesting turn of events, and that's going to be a 3-point takedown if the official says it is.
Yep.
And that gives him the win.
Yep, it's that 3-point near fall. Holding his shoulders 45 degrees or closer to the mat for 5 seconds or longer. He gets that 3 near fall and comes in with the win.
Well, right there in sports, we call that come from behind.
Absolutely. You know, he started off the match strong with a takedown and then seemed to coast. And
is that maybe a little strategy? Like if I try to run with him, I'm not going to win. But if I can kind of stall out and see what I can do at the end and save my energy,
not a very good strategy.
If it's okay, so we will hear from the winner there, and the next semifinal coming up. Well, we're hoping we'll get the correct names here. I should have remembered. I do have actually. So Baylor Denkinger and Dorian Tolinar. Dorian Tolinar from Arlington won by fall over Richard Chung of Kamiak in the semifinals. And Baylor Denkinger from Edmonds Woodway.
He's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore.
Yep.
He beat Griffin Klockerman in the semifinals 4-2. Baylor Denkinger and Dorian Tolinar. Those are great names.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. They sound like wrestlers. And here we go at 1:13 for the championship of the Panther Classic. Coach is exhorting them on. So here we go.
Both well coached. Edmonds Woodway by Brian Alfie, who's been around for a long time, and a name you knew from Arlington, Johnny Gilbertson, coaching these guys.
He could wrestle a little.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Went on to do some work in the cage after high school. Tough guy. Man, I tell you, Tom, this tournament was the one I always look forward to the most.
Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. The ones where you go on trips and 2-day tournaments are fun team bonding experiences, but to come here, wrestle in the finals, and have those lights turn off, have the spotlights on you, that just feels special.
You know, we hear so much about that. You get the feeling that that's what people really want, is that they like having to turn the lights off.
Yep.
Get introduced. So are we going to go down to Steve? Steve, are you ready to go?
We are ready to go. We've got our first winner of the day. It's the 106-pound champion, Daniel Heiss from Arlington. And Daniel, 9-minute match. And if it had ended at 8:57, I think you would have lost. Talk a little bit about winning at the very final moments of the match.
It was just all about having faith. My coach had faith in me. Just pushing through it. That's went through my mind. Just keep going. Don't stop until the match is over.
You'd wrestled LeCompte one other time previously, and you pinned him in 20-something seconds?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
So what were you expecting today? You had the early takedown and jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. At that point, were you thinking, hey, maybe it's going to be another one?
No, I knew he wanted to revenge on me, so I was ready for a fight, and I gave it to him.
You gave it to him, and you got the victory. Hey, after a long day like this, it's Saturday night, 5 o'clock. What do you eat after a big match, after you've been hanging out here in the gym all day trying to get ready for wrestling? Do you get to go home and now and decompress and have a huge dinner, or what do you do?
Yeah, my family always makes a good dinner for me to make sure I'm staying on weight, eating healthy.
So you don't get a chance to junk out a little bit? Are you going to eat healthy tonight, or what's on the menu at the Heiss house?
Maybe some burgers, some nice junk food, maybe.
Burgers, junk food, a little healthy eating, and why not? He gets the 7-6 victory. Daniel, congratulations on winning the tournament today.
Thank you.
There we go. Good. Thank you very much. And we're back to action here. It's a 6-2 lead for Dorian Tolinar out of Arlington.
Yep, still in the first round. 16 seconds left.
Blake Denkinger out of Edmonds Woodway, the number 5 ranked 3A wrestler. And down to 4, down to 3, and that will about do it there. And I was saying earlier today, the best gig in sports is being the kid that gets to run out and whack the official in the back with a towel.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Not a lot of sports you get to go out there and just hit somebody.
That's right. The worst is running the shot clock at a basketball game. If they ever ask you, just say, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Dorian Tolinar in the red anklet is leading it. He's on top here over Baylor Denkinger out of Edmonds Woodway. He
came out pretty strong in the first round, got himself a takedown. And then Deckinger got an escape, only for Tolinar to take him down to his back and get another 2 points and near fall. So those 2 points for Deckinger were just escapes.
We've been here for a couple hours watching as the consolation rounds were running, and we're up to, I think, over 300 different matches. Is there, when you come to a tournament, is there a rhythm to it? As a wrestler, you kind of know, okay, I'm wrestling now. I know about when I need to start being ready for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to wrestle within 1 to 2 hours. That's usually your break. But the real rhythm that you get into is when you know your match is coming up.
Right.
That's when you go, you start warming up, and you want to do the exact same thing every time. Warming up. Your routine to warm up is
always
big to
always
your
the
success
same?
on the mat. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know when you want to.
Yep.
Okay. Were you a jump rope guy?
Absolutely not.
Oh. A lot of them are. A lot of guys are, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely not, though.
This is the 113 championship. It's an 8-3 lead now for Dorian Tolinar out of Arlington. 20 seconds to go in the second round. And Denkinger is just keeping that elbow out there.
Well, there's not much he can do. Tolinar has his foot caught.
Down to 2, down to 1. That will end the second round.
Yep.
11-3, big score, big lead here for Tolinar.
Yep, and even though Tolinar is ahead, he's going to choose down because, like I said, easiest position to score from.
And now we're getting into major decision territory too, right?
Yep.
Which is?
8 or more points. Yep.
Did you make that up?
Well, it's either a 7 or 8.
So just underway, third round. Well, it looks Denkinger's got to get busy, right?
But so does Tolinar, and he's got no stall warnings on him, which is nice. But he's just sitting there.
Okay, now if I'm tuning in on a Saturday afternoon on ESPNU or the Big Ten Network, and I'm watching NCAA wrestling, they'll talk about riding time.
Yep.
Well, tell me what that is compared to – you don't see it in high school wrestling.
Yep. Riding time, you're going to be on top. And if you are controlling their hips, you've got a running clock going. And say you're on top for 30 seconds, you're up 30 seconds. Now, if the other guy's on top, that clock goes down for you. And then once it gets to 0, it starts rising for him. And at a certain point, if you have I don't know, a minute of riding time, you're going to get 1 point at the end of the match. Whoever's got the
most riding time?
most riding time, but it's if it's relatively even within like under a minute, you're not gonna score a point. But it's
okay. So if
I'm not sure what the exact mark is, but once you hit, let's say 2 minutes riding time, advantage against your opponent, it's not that high, but you'll get 1 point at the end of the match for riding time, and that does not exist here in high school.
But it's an hourglass.
Exactly.
It's filling. Then the other guy's got to unfill before it starts adding. Okay.
Exactly.
I get it. 35 seconds to go in the match. A 12-3 lead for Dorian Tolinar out of Arlington. Baylor Denkinger, the ranked wrestler in this matchup at number 5 in the state in Class 3A. And out of a very tough Edmonds Woodway room. Seems like they're year after year after year. Brian Alfield, as you mentioned, their coach.
Yep.
Down to 8, down to 7 seconds to go. And time will expire, and that will be that. And it will be Dorian Tolinar who will win it here. Final of 12-3.
Yeah, pretty uneventful, but nice solid match there by Tolinar.
And you can tell that these guys have wrestled each other a lot, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Because lots of summer wrestling too. Now we're getting into the 120s. We'll hear from Dorian Tolinar here. They're going to give out the medals now over in the bullpen. Now, I noticed during some of the semifinals you were over in the bullpen too. Did you feel like you wanted to get out there and mix it up again?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that feeling will never go away. You know, every time you're around a wrestling mat, you just, at least for me, I always want to get out there and wrestle. But
so they've awarded the 106 over there in the they don't have the oh, they do have the award stand, but way over there in the corner.
Yeah, it's just the same color as the same color as
yeah.
the gym floor, so it's hard to see.
So that is done, and now off the lights will go, and we will move into the 120-pound. So Kyle Niet of Glacier Peak, who won by major decision over Sam Marr of O'Day in the semifinals. And then Gabriel Duchesneau from Timberline beat Emmanuel Boyaki Ansa out of Edmonds Woodway, pinned him at 2:48 of the match. Which you'd have to figure was an upset because Boyake Ansa came in as a number 9 ranked 3A wrestler at 120. So the finals are ready to go. As Duchesneau out of Timberline and Kyle Niet out of Glacier Peak.
You have a couple of juniors here facing off.
So from Timberline, putting on the red anklet, and here we go. Underway here. And let's go down to Steve.
All right, we are with the 113 champion. Once again, it is Arlington over Edmonds Woodway for the second consecutive match. Dorian Tolinar is with us right now. Dorian, first of all, you've wrestled Baylor before earlier this year, and you lost, right?
Yeah.
So what did you learn in that first match? What did you do differently today?
Well, it's partially because I was sick at the beginning, and so I just wasn't able to wrestle at my fullest. And I got really tired after the first round, and he was able to put on the punishment after that.
Did you learn anything strategically from him from that first match that you used against him today?
A little bit. I knew he liked to go for strong ties and up close, and so I tried to stay away and use my low legs to keep my distance.
And I'm noticing there's a little blood in the teeth there. I'm sure it doesn't hurt as bad when you win, right?
Yeah, it feels great.
Feels great. And now you get a chance to go eat. We were asking your teammate earlier about this, Daniel Heiss, and I'll ask you. You've been here all day. You've been putting forth all this time and energy towards wrestling. Do you get to go home and junk out on food now?
I junk out a little bit, but there's always another tournament that I got to stay up for, and I wrestle over the summer too, so even when the season ends, I'm still going.
So what are you eating tonight? What's the go-to meal or the go-to snack?
Usually like to drink Mountain Dew. It's usually not very good for your weight. And probably going to buy a cinnamon roll from the concession stands after as well. So those look pretty good.
Cinnamon roll, Mountain Dew, the recipe for the snack of champions, if you will. Dorian, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Hey, and you can tell those cinnamon rolls were great. We had them.
I might have to go get one now. See if we can get another 3-round match in here.
Yeah, they moved down to 50 cents per cinnamon roll a couple hours ago, so I doubt they have any left.
So we're underway. Kyle Niet out of Glacier Peak, Gabriel Duchesneau from Timberline. And we are tied up 4-4 with 22 seconds to go in the opening round.
Yeah, Tom, you were looking for action. Watch these guys.
Right. Wow.
That's a nice double.
He's
going to get called for that.
He's going to get called for no takedown points.
Wow.
You would have given him takedown?
No, he was not controlling the hips.
Okay. Well, you thought there was going to be a
well, Duchesneau was in a disadvantageous position, and
nice
it looked
word.
like he
Boy,
was.
that's about a $10 word right there.
And they're a lot stricter this year about fleeing the mat or pushing somebody out of the mat, and he was on the edge, and it looked like he was trying to get away. So I was just surprised to not see some sort of.
You thought it was going to be Duchesneau that was going to get called for it.
Yep.
Okay. That's one thing, and you've used it before when we've done wrestling too. Fleeing the mat.
Yep, fleeing the mat. You know,
I am. See ya.
You're supposed to wrestle into the circle. If you're on the edge, you're not like. You're supposed to try to wrestle into the mat.
Okay. There's a 1 point now.
Yep.
So that'll go to Duchesneau from Timberline. As we mentioned, he pinned the number 9 ranked team, or number 9 ranked wrestler out of Edmonds Woodway, Emmanuel Boyaki Ansa, in the semifinals. And Niet got the win over the O'Day wrestler by 11, 15-4, major decision.
Yeah, he's at a good tournament. Highest he's placed is 4th in districts in 2017. So he's wrestling well. So is Duchesneau. He came out and it took him down to start the match.
Down to 30 seconds to go in the second.
And he's got a 3-point lead for himself.
Now, if you pull, you can pull the wrestler over on top of you and roll right across, and he doesn't control you, therefore there are no near falls.
Correct. As far as near fall is concerned, but you can still pin yourself.
You can.
You can. A pin in college is different than a pin in high school. In college, if your shoulders just tap the mat at the same time, it's a pin. So suicide rolls are much more difficult to. They're much more risky. In high school, you can just roll right over your shoulders on top to put him on his back, and you're not gonna pin yourself.
Oh, that's called a suicide roll.
Yep.
See, look at I'm learning things. Down to into the third period now. Gabriel Duchesneau from Timberline with a 7-4 lead over Kyle Niet out of Glacier Peak. The Glacier Peak wrestler in the blue and the Timberline wrestler in the gold. As we're at a minute 30 to go. No points, the official says.
That's a takedown, and he's getting near fall.
And he's getting close to a pin, and that will be a pin. And Kyle Niet out of Glacier Peak will win it.
You know, Tom, that was pretty impressive. The Duchesneau really looked like he had a handle on that match, at least.
Right.
At least on their feet, takedowns. He was really scoring. The one thing that Niet could do was put him on his back from his feet. He seemed to have a really good handle on throwing him to his back.
So Kyle Niet gets the win in pin fashion over Gabriel Duchesneau out of Timberline. And so they're going to, I think, award some more ribbons over in the far corner. And we'll be moving to 126. Steve Willits working down on the sidelines. We'll hear from him here in just a moment. My name's Tom Lafferty, along with Josh St. Marie, state champion wrestler. And now, what time did you find out you were singing the national anthem?
I had about 2 minutes heads up.
Hey, do you want to sing the anthem?
Yeah, I was down at the booth collecting some information about the finalists, and Kevin Judkins, who's the athletic director at Glacier Peak High School, and he's also running the tournament. He's like, "Hey, you want to sing the anthem?" And I was like, "Sure, let's go."
He didn't have to twist your arm. There wasn't an illegal wrestling move put on you to to do it. 126 coming up next, and it's going to be Jacob Daly out of Oak Harbor, and it's going to be Gavin McDonald out of Glacier Peak, another Grizzly wrestler. Jacob Daly won by major decision by 8 points over Usman Fatih from Edmonds Woodway, and Gavin McDonald out of Glacier Peak beat the Federal Way's Michael Proctor Yates in the semifinal. 126. Jacob Daly out of Oak Harbor being introduced, coming out onto the mat.
Yeah, Tom, these are both seniors and both state alternates from last year. So they both went to the Tacoma Dome on the weekend of the state tournament, weighed in, and didn't get to participate because nobody was sick. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but they're both state alternates from last year.
So the Glacier Peak wrestler and a Oak Harbor wrestler.
Yeah, something interesting about Jacob Daly from Oak Harbor. This is only his 3rd year of wrestling.
Really?
Yep, and he's a senior, so he's one of those guys who started his sophomore year, never wrestled before that, and was a state alternate in his 2nd year.
Which is interesting because that usually doesn't happen, right? Usually you're a wrestler from when you're a little kid.
Well, you know, at the highest level of the state level, you see a lot of guys, like the majority of the kids wrestling are people who wrestled when they were kids growing up, but no, it happens.
Let's go down to Steve Willits, who's down courtside.
We are with the 120-pound champion. It's Kyle Niet. And Kyle, you wrestled here 2 years ago as a freshman in the Panther Classic. You took 3rd. You weren't here last year. Why was that?
I broke my arm at a really big tournament, and so I was kind of on break.
So being in Snohomish County and being from the Snohomish School District, how big of a deal is it to win the Panther Classic?
It feels really good just to be able to know that I wrestle for GP and we practice hard and we get what we put in.
I'm going to take a quick break here right now. We just had a victory down there, a quick one.
We did. Sudden victory here.
Yep, Gavin McDonald took down Jacob Daly right away, took him to his back, and he got the 3 near fall. Didn't end up pinning him there, but then started another pinning combination. You know, I never liked wrestling those guys that are tall and lanky because they've just got so much reach and ability to just lock you up and put you on your back. And that's what Gavin did. He put him on his back and pinned in there real quick.
Let's go back down to Steve.
Okay, now I've got to ask you, Kyle. Gavin just got the quick pin. Surprised at all?
Not really. He puts in a lot of work in the room.
I can imagine. Do you guys work together quite a bit? I mean, you're not that far apart in weight, so during practice?
Not really. I'm kind of low in the 120s, or typically at practice I am. Right now I'm not. But he's upper 130 area, and he has his own drill partner he likes, and I have my own drill partner I like.
One thing that's interesting about you, and you and I were talking off camera a moment ago, a lot of these guys, they like to know who they're wrestling. They like to know the background on these guys, who their opponents are potentially coming up. You don't do that this year, right?
No, I don't.
And why is that?
It gets in my head really easily because I'm a really mental wrestler, and the slightest thing can throw me off on any day.
So you were talking earlier also, you won your semifinal match against the #1 seed, and you had no idea until afterwards he was the #1 seed?
Yeah, that was just really shocking that I did that.
Not shocking to a lot of folks. You got the victory. And tell me about your match in the championship. You were losing before the pin. What was the strategy coming into the match?
Just coach says not to panic. I'm a good enough athlete to wrestle through things, and I just had to wrestle through it. I had the same thing on my first round match. I was down 3 points, and I was just got to keep wrestling.
Keep wrestling, and you got the victory. And the question of the day, we've already asked it to the 106 and the 113-pound winners. You're a champion now. You've been here all day. You've been watching people walk through the stands, eating from the concession stand. What does the post-match champion meal look like for you tonight?
Probably a Sprite and a burger.
Just one burger, or do you go for the triple stack, or what are you doing?
Just one burger. I'm still trying to drop weight.
Still trying to drop weight. Take that Sprite, eat the burger, and you get to walk away here with a victory. Congratulations today.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. Kyle Niet out of Glacier Peak. Were you a mental wrestler, Josh St. Marie?
Absolutely. Yep.
But they're different, right? Mental wrestlers, physical wrestlers? Is that what the – it's all physical.
Yeah, I mean, there's a balance to everything. But, yeah, sure, some wrestlers just go out there and their mental is the same every time, and they just go after you the whole time. And some are real thinkers and have a game plan and really think things through.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back more of the Panther Classic here at Snohomish High School on STSPN.com.
Ho, ho, go. I think my ride's due for an upgrade.
There's more than one way to fly. Great deals all month long at the Dodge Black Friday event.
McDaniel's Do It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do It Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Go, Steve. Go,
Hey,
Steve.
we are back here right now. We're with Joey Brown, the head coach at Snohomish, and they're the host of the Panther Classic. I guess the easiest question to ask you right away, Joey, how's it going today so far?
It's good. It's been good. We've got 18 teams here today. We've got high-level wrestlers. It's been fun. The finals have been fun so far, and yeah, looking to keep it rolling all the way through. So,
as a coach, how much of it is you being the organizer, and how much do you get to actually coach and do things with your wrestlers throughout the day? I've got to think you're wearing multiple hats, right?
Yeah, it's about 50-50. I got some really good assistant coaches that do a lot of. I jump in the chair when I got the opportunity to. But we're really those guys right there. Kevin Judkins and Mark Perry and Tanner Perry now, they're running it and doing a great job. And it's been awesome, and it's allowed me to coach our kids more and get these guys into the chairs and coaching more. It's been good.
Give a shout out to some of your wrestlers today. How did they do? And give us some names.
They did well. Right now we got Ryan Douglas, our 195. He's a senior. He's in the finals. Kyle Carlson, Jr., he's in the finals. Matt Miller, Jr., he's going to be wrestling for 3rd and 5th. Our heavyweight Duncan King will be wrestling for 3rd and 5th. Man, we had some young kids. We have a lot of kids out right now. A lot of injuries this time of year and some sickness. So we have a lot of freshmen and sophomores wrestling that did really well today. So yeah, I was happy. I was pleased with the way they worked out. So.
Well, you guys have done a top-notch job here. It looks great. We've enjoyed talking to the wrestlers and seeing your guys go at it, and hopefully we'll maybe be talking to a Snohomish wrestler down the way here before we leave today. Thanks, Joey.
Hopefully. Thank you.
And while we're at it, let's get Gavin McDonald over here real quick. The 126-pound champion. Gavin, you hardly gave us any time to talk to Kyle. We're interviewing him, and a minute later you got a pin. You made the final look easy. How was it for you?
I just had a mindset like I was tired of getting third because a lot of tournaments this year I've been getting 3rd place, and I just wanted to get that for my team and for everybody, get some team points on the board. So that felt very good.
How much did you know about the wrestlers you were going against today? Did you watch your bracket? Kyle says he doesn't even like to know.
Yeah, I didn't really. None of us really pay attention to our brackets because if you pay attention to it too much, it brings you a mindset like, oh, this guy's good. If you have that mindset where I can beat him anyways, then it doesn't matter. So not really. I didn't have a mindset on anybody, so I didn't know.
Same in the semifinal. Did you watch the guy that you wrestled in the championship, or?
No, I didn't pay attention to anybody. I just went out there to wrestle.
And in a match like that, 1 minute in, did you recognize within the first few seconds that, hey, I can pin this guy pretty quick?
Yeah, I kind of felt the pressure a little bit different when I hit him with my snap, and I was like, I knew the pressure was there, and so I went for my shots because I trust my own shots because we drill every day in practice.
And before the 132-pounders come out here, I've got to ask you really quick. It's the question of the day. You've been here all day long. You've wrestled at multiple matches. It's 5 o'clock. I'm sure you're getting hungry at this point. What does the McDonald meal look like? What is the family eating tonight?
Probably some hot iron and some maybe mod pizza or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
You can eat pretty much whatever you want. You're a champion, so go ahead and enjoy it, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Thanks very much, Steve. He felt it in his snap. Tell me what that means.
Yeah, I mean, some guys, you go out there and you feel he put his hand up, put it on his opponent's head, and kind of snapped him down to the mat, and he could feel the pressure was what he wanted for the move he wanted to execute. So he hit it with confidence.
And this should be one of the matches of the night, I think. Parker Hardy out of Glacier Peak and Travis Blasingame out of Westview out of Oregon. Blasingame won in a pin at 39 seconds over the Edmonds Woodway wrestler. Parker Hardy had to go to overtime, sudden victory overtime, and beat Isaac Ortega out of Stanwood. That was a great semifinal.
Absolutely. I actually stood there watching Parker Hardy's semifinal with Isaac Ortega win it overtime. Parker Hardy actually came back from being down a couple points to tie it 6-6 before going into overtime, and it wasn't they went almost the whole overtime period before Parker Hardy got a takedown to make it to the finals.
And this is your weight, right? 132?
Close. Yep. This weight class actually didn't exist.
Really?
8 or 9 years ago when I was wrestling. Yep. I wrestled at 130 pounds, but this would be the closest weight.
Okay.
Yep.
But only reason I said because you said a couple of matches ago you hated those really tall, lanky guys.
Yeah,
so that's
Parker's one of them, that tall, lanky. Loves to be on top so that he can catch you for a pin or catch you for some near fall.
Parker Hardy placed 8th last year in the 4A state tournament, ranked number 7 coming in, and he wrestled a year ago at 120.
Yep. He's a 2-time state placer.
And right now, still 0-0 a minute in.
Against Blasingame, who is from Oregon and pinned his guy in at 39 seconds. So this should be a close one.
Well, it's close so far. We're over a minute in and no points have been scored and still no takedown points.
Yep, they're still in a neutral position. Nobody's got control of the hips to earn that takedown yet.
And Hardy using, as we mentioned, lanky, long legs to keep that wide stance so he can't get turned over, and just not quite enough strength for Blasingame. So they're really almost stalemated here, aren't they?
Yep, we're down to 15 seconds to go.
And we may have a scoreless.
They both could score pretty easy here, so they're not going to stop it and stalemate. It's still a pretty neutral position.
Ooh, that's it. They're going to give him.
Nobody had control of the hips, so there's no points awarded.
Okay, so you've got the choice, and you would take what?
It depends. If it's 0-0, I would defer to the other guy, so you get the choice in the third round.
Oh, so if you win the toss in the second, you can defer.
You can defer, and that's what Blasingame did. He looked to his coaches. Coaches said defer. He said to defer, and Parker Hardy took bottom, which is definitely the right thing to do.
If he can get an escape, but he didn't.
If it's 0-0, I may have misspoke. You don't want to defer.
Oh, okay.
Because of how the overtime works. Nobody has scored yet, so if you get the choice, you want to take a position where you feel like you can score first.
Right.
Because if you get to overtime, there's several different layers of overtime, but if it's still tied after all of those layers, you go into a sudden death in the very end. And whoever scored first in the match gets to choose top or bottom. If you're top and you ride them out, you win. If you're bottom and you score,
there we go.
You win.
And we get a win for Travis Blasingame out of Westview, Oregon, as he got Parker Hardy down and pinned him in the second round, about a little over 3 minutes in. And Hardy will lose it to the wrestler out of Oregon.
Yeah, I said it was usually the tall and lanky guys that can get that pin pretty easy, but
well, and Blasingame's pretty tall and lanky too. It's not like he's a short guy.
Yep. But it was 0-0. He deferred. Glacier Peak took bottom, and he got a move put on him. You know, that's the thing. If you're going to take bottom, you've got to be up and out of there right away.
The best thing is you have to get out of there within the first couple seconds, right?
Well, I mean, you don't have to, but the idea of taking bottom is that you're going to go. Your motor's going to be going. You're going to get up to your feet and get away right away. You're going to score immediately. That's the goal of taking bottom.
But as the top guy, then how do you prevent that? You just do.
Oh, you try to turn him. You control the hips. You work your moves to get a pin, or you let him go and wrestle on your feet.
Okay, so that one ended fairly quickly. So they're waiting for the consolation rounds to end as well. We're going to hear from Steve down on the side here in just a little bit. You know, we talked about how about wrestling the same guy. You'll see a guy during the regular season, then you see him at districts, and you run at regionals, maybe at state, and a couple of tournaments. You could wrestle a guy 6-7 times a year, couldn't you? Same guy?
Yeah. Well,
if you happen to be at the right place at the right time.
Yes, it can happen. Guys in your district that are going to go all the way to state alongside you, you know, usually like 4, maybe 5 times if you see each other at a tournament.
So let's go down. Let's go downstairs to Steve.
All right, we've got Travis Blasingame with us right now from Westview. And for those of us who are watching here in the state of Washington, give us a little rundown as to where exactly Westview is in Oregon.
Westview is right outside of Portland. It's deeper towards Hillsborough, right off of 185th. It's a good place.
And how are you guys enjoying the trip? I know you've never been to this particular tournament, right? Your freshman year, you were wrestling for Beaverton at the time, and you guys weren't here last year. So how has the weekend been for you, other than the fact that you're now a champion?
It was pretty fun. Yesterday was kind of yesterday kind of sucked. I was like 4.5 pounds over, so we had to do a lot of cutting, that's for sure.
Talk about cutting a little bit. We hear about it all the time. 4.5 pounds over a 24-hour period or less. What exactly did you do to get weight?
Well, my partner, Joey Costi, he decided not to wrestle this weekend so he could rest up and be ready for next weekend. We have 5 counties, which is a tough-ass tournament. So basically, he's my motivation. He pushes me to my limits. So we got a good workout in last night.
And when you have to cut 4.5 pounds in 24 hours, what does that do to your strength? How are you feeling right now?
Right now I feel pretty strong. I wrestle 38 quite a bit, and the cut to 32 is tough, but it's definitely worth it.
And talk about your match out there. 0-0 after 1 round. What was the strategy coming in, and what ultimately got you the victory?
I know I'm tough on top, so I trusted myself, was patient, and it worked out.
Worked out to where you got the victory. Long drive back. You're down 4.5 pounds. Does this mean you just get to gorge out on food on the way home? Or are you guys going to make a stop to one of our local fast food joints before you head out of town?
We'll see. Hopefully.
What would be the meal of choice for you as you start to put back on some weight today?
I'm Red Robin guy. The burger and a milkshake fits pretty well.
Bonsai burger? What are you getting there?
He's got to get his medal, Steve.
Guacamole bacon burger.
He's going to get his medal first, so he better get going. Hey, again, congratulations on the victory, and have a safe trip back.
Thank you.
Steve, you're going to make him be late for his medal.
You're saying the medal is more important than talking to us? Is that what you're saying?
More important than talking to you. I
can guarantee you that, too. No argument there.
He's a Red Robin guy.
He's a Red Robin guy. I'm not sure that they're going to make that stop on the way home. You got a long drive ahead. It might be more of a where can the bus fit through a drive-through, and let's get something quick.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve, downstairs, along with Travis Blasingame out of Westview, and he got the pin, and they're awarding the medals right now over in the far corner. So congratulations to him. We'll go to 138 here next. And as soon as, Josh, as soon as he said, had to cut weight, you said, oh, yeah. You remember those days, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, most of the time that I was in high school, I did not cut very well, and that was pulling teeth. It was not fun to be 10 pounds over with 3 days to go and have to cut that weight.
But they did. He did, and he got a win, and now we're moving to 138. And a couple of guys that won by pin 7 seconds apart in the semifinals are ready to wrestle. It's Austin Cleland out of Sumner And it's Diego Delgado out of Timberline, both won by pins. Cleveland beat C.J. Lefsky out of Stanwood. Delgado beat Leon Kawahara out of Juanita. C.J. Lefsky came in as the number 9 ranked wrestler. Delgado is the number 6 ranked wrestler. Cleveland is the number 5 ranked 4A wrestler, 6th at 132 a year ago in the state 4A tournament. So these are two pretty fine wrestlers.
Yep, Cleveland taking 6th and Delgado being a state participant last year. This is a match you'd expect to see in the Tacoma Dome.
So the Timberline against Sumner. Timberline from down near Olympia, Sumner from beautiful downtown Sumner, the Spartans, Sunset Chevrolet Stadium. Been there many times for football, and we're underway. And the Sumner wrestler, no control yet.
You have Delgado's in there on a single leg, but there's no control of the hips.
This is the 138-pound match in the Panther Classic for 2018, the 36th annual. So when you're in a tournament, any kind of tournament, this tournament, a 2-day tournament, however it works, were you a wrestler like to be tested early, like bang, or coast into the quarters before you really even get tested?
I would like to get tested later.
So you want to coast going in.
Yep. I think Kyle Niette from Glacier Peak was talking about in his interview, looking at the brackets or not, and how coaches, don't want you to. I see a lot of wrestlers doing that. That for me was something that I couldn't do. If I go look at the brackets, I'm going to overthink every matchup, and I just had to go into every single one with the same mindset.
They've called the training staff out. Looks like some blood. There's going to be blood on the mat, blood on the other wrestler, and the Timberline wrestler, Diego Delgado, I think is bleeding.
And on that subject of looking at the brackets,
right,
and do you have a tough match? I remember my sophomore year, the only time I got pinned in high school was when I looked at the bracket ahead of time.
Really?
Yep. I saw myself there as the first seed, and I just was not mentally ready for my match. And I went out there and got pinned. So. And
it made you mad?
Absolutely. So I, don't want to be tested early. I'd rather be tested late, but.
And you don't want to know who you're going to wrestle next.
But, yep, ultimately, if you're wrestling at a high level, you don't want to know. You don't want to think about the other guy. You don't want to think of how good he is, how high is he ranked. You want to go out there with the attack mindset, your mindset, wrestle how you're going to wrestle if you want to do your best.
Now, will coaches look at film of another wrestler if you're getting into something, or is it up to you?
Absolutely. In my opinion, that's the coach's job, to take a look at film and put together a game plan and talk to you maybe before the match about, hey, let's attack the legs, let's try to get him down on the mat and work on this side of his body, those sorts of things. Let's touch his head.
But there are some things maybe you do want to know. In your case, we've talked about it a couple times. He's tall and lanky. Hey, he's a tall guy. Okay, different mind. You don't want to walk out there and be surprised when you look across. Oh my God, look at that guy.
Yeah, well, when they're tall and lanky, I'm just thinking to myself, don't be on bottom.
Right.
And
at all costs.
Yeah, well, I'll choose bottom, but don't stay there.
Right.
Get up right away. Score your point. Don't mess around trying to get a reversal. Game plans are important, but that's for the coach to give you. You should just focus on your match.
Austin Cleveland out of Sumner with a 2-0 lead over Diego Delgado out of Timberline. 28 seconds to go in the round. The official here, Sean O'Donnell.
I used to be a busser for him.
Sean O'Donnell's Restaurant, 128th, South Everett. And the Sumner wrestler getting some kind of control, but not really. Then he kind of goes back, and so a 2-point. Did he give near fall?
Yeah,
points?
it must be bleeding. The Sumner wrestler must be bleeding again, I think, or he saw blood somewhere.
I see a blood splotch right on his back too.
Yep. So Cleland ended up turning Blazer and getting a couple of near fall points, but as they came back to a more neutral position.
And the training staff, here's what you need as a trainer in wrestling: gloves and a lot of alcohol wipes.
Yep, and those little
cotton balls that they shove up your nose.
Yep, the little cotton tube thingies that they shove in your nose.
Steve, we're going down to you?
Yeah, we've got Ray Mather, the head coach for Stanwood, with us. And Ray, I guess the camera doesn't quite show it. Back up here a little bit. You've got a Troy Aikman Cowboys jersey on the day that the Seahawks are playing the Cowboys in the playoffs. What is up with that?
Boo.
I've been a Cowboys fan all my life. Growing up in Nebraska, you didn't have anybody, like the Seahawks being in Washington. So, I took what the best thing was, and the Cowboys were good at then. So. That's why I'm a Cowboy fan.
Steve, have him turn around so we can see the Aikman on the back.
Oh, yeah, let's turn it. They want you to turn around so we can see the Aikman on the camera there. There we go. He is, in fact, wearing an Aikman jersey. You know he's not playing today, right?
I hope he's announcing because I know how much the Seahawks fans hate him.
We're all DVR in the game, so we don't want to know. If anybody's out there, don't be tweeting at STSPN. And I'm sure, are you recording the game also?
We don't want to talk about that.
Okay, we won't even talk about it at all.
I forgot to do walking out the door today, and I've been trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm hoping for our sake that you don't want to DVR the game anyway, so we'll see.
Well, it doesn't matter win or lose. I got a lot of family that love the Seahawks, so I'm the odd man out, but hopefully the Cowboys can redeem themselves from 2009, I'll tell you that.
Okay, let's talk about something that we can all get on board with. Stanwood Wrestling. How are you guys doing here at the tournament?
We just jumped over into 4th place, so we're very pleased. This is a tough tournament, and having one guy in the finals is great for us. We'd like to have a few more. We had some guys an opportunity of that, but, very, very pleased with how we're doing. We're coming through the back door really well. Just had 2 pins, so happy with the guys. I'm pretty pleased with it.
And for the final, the 160-pound coming up here in a few minutes, we got a little Stilly Cup action. It's Stanwood Arlington, right?
Oh, yeah, and I'm putting my money on Stanwood on this one.
But yeah, Riley Van Scoy, who's having a heck of a year too, by the way, right, against Sam Rush. Talk about Riley a little bit and what we can expect to see when he's out there on the mat.
You can expect to see force. He's going to get after it when he gets after it. He's going to put everything he's got into everything he has there, and a lot of guys can't match that intensity.
And I'd be remiss if I don't ask you this before I let you go. We've gotten to know Mason Phillips a little bit over the last few years, now wrestling at North Carolina. How is Mason doing? Do you get a chance to ever communicate with him?
I would communicate quite a bit, but he was just in the room all last week. Came home for Christmas break. He's redshirting and doing great. He had a little shoulder surgery, so he took a redshirt year, but he's been cleared to get back on there. And within the first 3 days, he's already taken down and getting after a guy that's ranked 4th in the country. So he's got some great potential coming up there, and really enjoying being there. So anytime he comes back, he wants to help out. It's a great bonus for us.
Sounds like a very Mason Phillips thing. Hey, Ray, thanks a lot. Appreciate your time, and I wish I could say go Cowboys, but I can't. But I hope all the best for you guys the rest of the day here and throughout the season.
You bet. Thank you. And just like Russell Wilson, go Cowboys.
And, yeah, Mason Phillips, who wrestled at Stanwood, nothing like having an NCAA wrestler come back to the room for a week.
Absolutely. They wrestle at a different level there, a different intensity, and it just raises the intensity of the whole room when somebody comes back.
Well, and is that something that everybody in the room will turn to watch, if he's maybe wrestling with a guy around his own way, to say, here, try this, or here's something I just learned?
No, they won't stop and do that sort of thing, but they everybody will steal glances as they're wrestling.
And we just had Austin Cleland out of Sumner win by fall. He pinned Diego Delgado out of Timberline.
Yep, he had control that whole match. He was up 7-1, about to get 3 more near fall points, and got the pin.
So Cleland out of Sumner picks up the win. And so next up will be the 145. They're awarding medals across the way there.
Yep, it's going to be Blake McBride, a senior from Oak Harbor, and Charles Richmond from Sumner.
Earlier winners, Daniel Heiss out of Arlington was a winner. Also Dorian Tolinar out of Arlington won. Glacier Peak's Kyle Niet was a winner at 126. Glacier Peak's Gavin McDonald wins it. Westview's Travis Blasingame won at 132. Austin Cleland just got the pin here a moment ago out of Sumner. And where do we go for? 145.
Coming up at 145. Blake McBride from Oak Harbor has a pretty tough matchup. He's against Charles Richmond from Sumner, who is a 2-time state runner-up and 3-time state placer. So in 2016, he took 6th, and 17 and 18, he made it to the state finals and lost. But he's a state finalist for both the last couple of years. It's a tough matchup for Blake McBride from Oak Harbor.
Coming in, CJ Richmond, ranked number 4 in 4A. Blake McBride is ranked number 5 in 3A. So that's pretty good. CJ Richmond gets the win over Timberline's Daniel Orfeo by pin at 137. McBride, a close decision, beat Decatur's Elijah Gander 2-1. Low scoring. I mean, that's. And if I say Bake McBride, who used to play for the Detroit Tigers, you'll forgive me, but it's Blake McBride.
Yeah, there's a lot more wrestlers in the state just by volume in these middle weights, and so at the top of tournaments, the matches tend to be just a little bit more competitive. So you see those more lower scoring, tight matches more often in these middle weights.
So at 145, we're underway, round number 1, and we're going to go down to Steve, who's with our previous winner.
We are the 138-pound champion, Austin Cleland. Austin, I guess I should ask you first about the nose. Little blood coming out there, but you got the victory, so I think you'll take that sacrifice, right?
Oh, yeah. A couple weeks ago, I broke my nose, so it's been bleeding nonstop since, that happened.
Does that get in your head when you're actually out there wrestling, the thought that it's already broken, you know it's going to bleed a little easier than normal? I've got to think this is a sport where psychologically you want to be at your best at all times. What is that like when you're out there and you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind?
Yeah, it definitely bothers me, but I hate wearing that face mask thing. I'd rather just hurt than wear that. It gets in your eyes. You can't see or breathe. It sucks.
And it kind of hurts so good when you get the pin, too. Talk about your match a little bit there and how it went. You had a 7-1 lead even before the pin.
Yeah, I don't know. I just came out, and in the beginning it was tough getting him down, but after I took him down, I had no problem really turning him with the legs or tiring him out.
Talk about this Sumner team and what kind of a unit you guys are. I saw the tunnel on the way out here. Is that something you guys do regularly at tournaments?
Yeah, we have like this thing. It's a North Idaho camp, and that started there. It's like a team bonding thing, and I don't know. Our team is super tight and fun. I like it a lot.
And it's a lot more fun when you guys are winning out here, too. Long trip back to Sumner after this. Does the team make a stop at one of the restaurants and get some food along the way? What's on the menu tonight for you guys for dinner?
I'm not sure, actually. We usually go to Denny's. So we might go back to Sumner and head up to Bonnie Lake and go to Denny's. That's what we usually do.
Are you going to be able to hold out that long, or do you snack a little bit on the way down there? Chips, donuts, what?
Yeah, I snack a little bit on the way, but no.
What's the go-to snack for you after a big match?
Probably just drinking a bunch of water and Gatorade. And, yeah, Denny's, like I said, we usually just hold out because we ride the bus here, so we can't really get much on the way back.
Water, bus, and then get to Denny's down in Bonnie Lake. Sounds like a great combination. Hey, again, congratulations on the victory, and best of luck not only on the season but with that nose as well.
Thank you.
There we go, Steve. Moon's over my hammy. You can't beat it, right, Josh?
Absolutely. I'm more of a French toast kind of guy.
So the Oak Harbor wrestler
is
down 2-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Charles Richmond. It was 0-0 till about a minute in, and Charles Richmond got a nice takedown.
The second period just now underway. CJ Richmond, Charles Richmond out of Sumner, Blake McBride out of Oak Harbor.
Yep, he chooses down and gets the quick escape.
Just exactly what you talked about.
Yep, gets that 1 point. Now they're back on their feet where you want to be.
We mentioned McBride, the number 3 ranked 3A wrestler out of Oak Harbor. And Richmond out of Sumner, the number 4A ranked.
Yep, both these guys should be on the medal stand.
In Tacoma?
Come mid-February, yep.
You know, and we talked during the year on our radio broadcast and on STSPN broadcast about the Tacoma Dome. It really, that is the place, isn't it?
It really is. It's pretty special.
And it's football. In fact, you went down with us. You were working with us. Lake Stevens drove back from losing in Vancouver, and he said, and Coach Tom Try said, every player looked over at the Tacoma Dome like, we don't get to play there. They did this year, but they didn't get to play there that year. It makes you sad. Same as a wrestler, right?
Absolutely. It's a pretty special place with how many seats are in there, how big, and how just notorious it is. It's a pretty special place, and it can really take you out of your mental game if it's your first time there. Coach will always suggest to the younger guys, hey, come watch the state tournament. Come watch the guys and we'll get you a pass. We'll get you to come down and see it from that perspective, to see all of the people in the stands and the mats, and realize that it's just another wrestling circle. It's just another place to go and compete.
But so they lie to you, because it isn't really, is it?
Well, I guess that's a matter of perspective, isn't it?
Well, and Steve, I'm going to bring you in on this too as we talk about it. It's not the same. When you walk, same with basketball, you walk out, you're in the Tacoma Dome. It's a whole different thing than walking into the Snohomish High School or the Jackson High School gym.
Oh, the magnitude of it. I mean, it changes. You're right, absolutely. And you hear that even now when we talk football in terms of the semifinals now being moved to a lot of the high school stadiums. It's not the same as walking into a large stadium that holds thousands of people with the lights being a couple 100 feet in the air above you. Just has a different feel to it. And again, I can't speak to the same extent of it as Mr. St. Marie there. I've never participated in the Tacoma Dome. But just when you walk in, even as a fan or as a broadcaster or whatever we're doing, it just has a different feel, and it's huge.
Well, talk about then, Josh. The first time you walked in, were you a participant, or had you been there before?
I had been there before to watch my older brother Stefan and my older brother Andrew both participate. Those two times I had walked in.
So you weren't as overwhelmed by, oh my God, I can't see the end of the mats. There's so many of them.
Correct. The first time I participated was my third time in the Tacoma Dome.
Okay.
But it was still a new experience, and it is different. It is different. What I was talking about, it being just another mat, is the mindset you want to have if you're going in as a participant to just focus on your match.
CJ Richmond with a 5-0 lead here in the 145 championship for the Panther Classic, leading Blake McBride out of Oak Harbor.
Yeah, Richmond, the two-time state final, the state runner-up, with a pretty good handle on this match.
But not high scoring, so it's more even maybe than he thought it would be, or.
Well, you can have two guys who are pretty far apart in skill level, so the score doesn't really necessarily tell you that they're really close. They may well be, and McBride is a fine wrestler, but if Richmond is way that far ahead, McBride can kind of just stall it out and keep it low scoring without much effort.
So he's going to award 1 point to Blake McBride.
Yep, looking like a stall call. They're pretty quick to stall him. Your first stall call, you get a warning. And then your second one, you award a point to the other wrestler.
Down to 3, 2, 1. And that is that. And it will be a win for CJ Richmond out of Sumner with the win.
Yep, a win is a win.
Look, wait a minute. Let me write that down. A win is a win. We play to win the game, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's true in any sport. You win by 1, you win by 50. It doesn't matter. It's a win.
Yeah. Well, coach is always going to want you to wrestle hard and wrestle hard and wrestle hard, because if you go from a decision, which winning 5-1 is a decision. That's what they call it. And you get a certain amount of team points for that. When you win by 7 or 8 or more, that turns into a major decision, and you get some more team points. If you get up by 15 points in a match, they'll stop it, and that's a technical, and you get even more team points for that. So coach is always going to team will want you to work just a little bit harder to get those team points. But yes, as an individual wrestler, a win is a win.
So that is the win. We're going to hear from C.J. Richmond down there with Steve here in just a moment. 152 is next. It'll be another Sumner wrestler and Kyle Carlson, one of the host wrestlers from Snohomish. Let's go down to Steve.
All right, we've got C.J. Richmond on with us right now. C.J., back-to-back for Sumner. That's going to be kind of exciting with you and Austin taking the titles there. To get you a little more motivated when your teammate goes out there and has a big match right before you?
Sure, for sure. It's great to see them win, compete. So yeah.
And we were talking too. The tunnel has a nice effect for you too. Does that get you jacked up when you're out there?
It's really exciting to have that much team bonding, I guess to say. So it's great.
Talk about your match a little bit. How difficult was it out there to get that victory?
It was he's definitely a good wrestler. I don't know. In the second round, started getting slippery, hard to get holds. He wrestled good on bottom. Didn't give anything up to me. So.
Had you seen him before?
No, I've never wrestled him, I don't think. So.
Makes it a little more difficult. You got a little blood in the mouth there, too. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
And we asked your teammate, first I should ask you, too, what kind of ambitions do you have for Tacoma this year? Where did you finish last year, and what are you hoping for this year?
So I finished second last year and the year before, so this year I want to take it all.
Gives you a little more motivation when you get that second place 2 years in a row, I've got to think. Does that just make you work that much harder in the off season?
Yes, for sure. So I wrestle 10 months out of the year, so it's good.
And of course, we're going to ask you because I asked Austin this as well as the other wrestlers. Sounds like you guys might be going to Denny's later on tonight in Bonnie Lake. Are you going to try to snack a little bit before then?
I'm probably going to eat before then, but Denny's is pretty great. We all love it. It's a great place to hang out with the team.
So what's the go-to thing on the meal or on the menu that you guys are ordering?
I mostly get French toast. I don't know. They go get random stuff.
Guy after your heart up there, Josh. Well, again, hey, congratulations and best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you on top there in Tacoma come a couple months here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Steve, tell him state champion also likes the French toast.
I should point that out, right? It's the meal of champions, apparently, right, Josh?
Well, I mean, you got to have it with butter and a nice sprinkling of cinnamon sugar on top. None of this syrup stuff. Just.
Yeah, but you've already won a championship, though, right? He's got to make sure he watches his weight a little, doesn't he? Unless he wants to move up one class.
Yeah, I guess that's important.
So we're underway here in the 152. Marcus Peterson out of Sumner, Kyle Carlson out of Snohomish, and we're at a 7-2 lead already for Peterson out of Sumner.
Yeah, the hometown junior Kyle Carlson, he got taken down right to his back, gave up 5 points right away, got an escape for one of his 2 points, and then the Sumner wrestler took him down again. So he's had his way on his feet so far.
In the
Peterson from Sumner.
In the semifinals, Peterson won by pin in the second period over Jeremy Williams out of Stanwood. Williams came in the number 11th ranked wrestler in the 3A, so a little bit of an upset there. Kyle Carlson won over Jack Pauley out of O'Day by pin as well. So a couple of guys that got pins in the semis, and they're wrestling here at 152 in the Panther Classic. And it's a 7-2 lead for Peterson of Sumner.
Peterson seems to be a strong wrestler on his feet. He likes those fakes, try to open up the legs to get, nice fake. Got Carlson to put his hands out a little bit, and Peterson just ducked right underneath for a double leg takedown.
And he gets 2 points on the takedown. It goes to 9-2 the score. But Carlson's not going easy.
Nope, so a solid first round there for Peterson.
So they've stopped it here. Looks like another blood problem.
Yeah, right at the we have 5 minutes of blood time, but right at the period break, I believe we're going to come back into the second period.
And so they will, they put 5 minutes up on the clock. And cleaning up the blood, and the wrestler earlier, and Steve will bring you in because it's going to slip my mind who it was that broke his nose earlier, but he's out there wrestling without. He didn't like wearing the mask.
Yeah, I think that was Austin Cleland that we were talking to, and Josh. How do you do that? I mean, for me, if I had a broken nose and I was going to go out there and wrestle, I'm wearing a mask as large as I can that they'll possibly give me and provide me with. Have you been in that situation before?
Yes. and I wore a mask for one match. This was back in middle school, but I will tell you, I would not wear a mask again. No. When you're out there, you don't really feel pain the same way you do walking around. You've got all that adrenaline going, and you just don't feel it. It's a little bit annoying that your nose will bleed, but you know, I would much rather go out there without the mask, and you know, what happens to my nose? Oh well.
I should point out that Austin Cleland just walked by me again, and he still has the gauze clear up his nose right now, and it's still looks pretty painful to me. I don't think it's getting any better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's probably not going to take out those things out of his nose until he goes to shower.
Yeah. It's 12-2 the score here, with Marcus Peterson out of Sumner leading Kyle Carlson out of Snohomish. It's now 12-3.
Yep, with that 1 point escape.
Now this looks awkward.
Yep. Carlson hasn't had a lot of success, so he's grabbing a foot and trying to start a little bit of a scramble, see if he can catch Peterson on his back. But Peterson has control of the hip, so he gets that 2 point takedown.
It goes to 14-3 the lead, and they're going to go to the blood problem again. So you get 5 minutes total, right?
Yes, I believe so.
For the match, because they just, on the automated scoreboard over there, it just went to 4:25 and started. So you get the 5 minute total.
Yes. Yep, it's a running clock, and you will run out of blood time.
So they're working on that over there. Peterson with a pretty commanding 14-3 lead over Carlson from the Panthers.
Peterson's the senior, and he's he took second in the state last year. He's a formidable opponent. He's also a 3-time state participant and state placer. He's been in the top 8 of state every year he's wrestled.
Yeah, Peterson a year ago was at 145, wrestling at 152 now. And now we're back to action.
Coming in the second period. Peterson has an 11-point lead. If that gets up to 15, they will stop the match, and he wins by technical fall.
But right now we're at a major decision area as well, right, as soon as the match is over.
Yep.
And more blood.
Yep, Kyle Carlson having a hard time stopping the blood here.
Is there a time when you're going to go, yeah, it's just not going to happen? Or do you just keep shoving Kleenex up your nose until?
Yeah, I mean they'll keep trying to stop that bleeding until the time runs out. You know, they may even put some tissues up your nose and then tape around your whole head to keep it up there. Seen it happen.
So still in blood time here for Kyle Carlson from here at Snohomish, and they've used about 3/4 of a roll of paper towels on him as well. Now, as an opponent, if you know the guy had a broken nose a week ago, are you going to go after that?
No. I mean, I have no doubt that there are wrestlers who think that way and will attack a guy that way, but no, not that I know of.
It happens in other sports. If you know the guy, you know, he's got a hurt ankle on the football team. Now, exactly what you said they're doing. They're putting tape all the way around his head.
Yep.
That's comfortable to take
They're
off.
about halfway done with their blood time, so they don't want to get close to 0 and get him DQ'd. So they have Kyle Carlson has gotten tissue put into his nose, and they've taped from his nose all the way around the back of his head to keep it on there.
So he's going to look a little strange when he turns back around and comes back out onto the mat.
Tom, I will say, as a wrestler, I always felt like bleeding was kind of nice because it never hurt.
Right, right.
You don't really feel pain out there. I mean, unless you get slammed and you can't continue, you know, you're in a lot of pain. But you don't feel a lot of pain when you're out there. So the blood almost gives you some breathers. But the most annoying thing, in my opinion, when my nose is bloody, is you can't breathe through your nose. So you're out there working really hard, and you have to breathe all the way through just your mouth. Makes it kind of difficult.
Marcus Peterson with a big lead, 14-4 here over Kyle Carlson, as we are finally back to action here. 15 seconds to go in the period.
Yeah, and Carlson, he's got to throw him on his back and pin him.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to win it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he all of a sudden becomes incredibly dominant on his feet, you know, you can take him down, put him on his back, get some near fall. But right now he's looking for, if I was him, I'd be looking for some sort of a throw. He's got to get him on his back and end this match with a pin, or he's going to walk away with second place.
Well, he'll get the escape point there. Yeah, at some point you're right. You just have to pull the cord. Like, okay, now I got to.
Yep.
In hockey, you pull the goalie.
And it's there a little bit.
And Tom and Josh, is it okay that normally I try to be very objective about who I'm rooting for? I'm kind of rooting for Kyle because I do want to interview him with the mask on. Is that strange? He's not taking it off if he gets a pin, by the way. We're bringing him right over instantly.
No, that'd be a fun interview. Good stories are always good to root for.
Great on camera.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen, Steve, unless something happens here, because he's down 16-5 here with 1:20 to go in the match.
Tom, stranger things have happened.
Yes, I know they have. But Marcus Peterson has got him in a very bad position here.
A nice near side cradle.
And that will be that, and that'll be a pin for Peterson for Sumner. So, Steve, you don't get to interview the guy with the mask on. You can get him at the second place.
It looks like he's already taken the tape off anyway, or at least slid it around his neck, so I don't think we're going to get to see it either way.
So that will be the win for Marcus Peterson out of Sumner. So Sumner with a couple of winners here, as they won the last one by fall as well. C.J. Richmond got the win.
3 straight.
3 straight. Austin Cleland with the win before that at 138, 145, and 152. Here's something that I can guarantee you: they won't win at 160. They don't have a wrestler in at 160.
That makes sense, Tom.
Their participant in the semifinals was Brian Billings, but he lost to Riley Van Scoy out of Stanwood, who won by pin 55 seconds in.
Yep. And you see that quite often, teams having their talent grouped up, because that old proverb, iron sharpens iron. You know, if you've got really good guys in a certain weight, the people they wrestle in the room are going to get better.
Right.
And so you see that often where a team's talent will be grouped in certain different weight groups.
And that is definitely the case here for the Sumner Spartans. And we're awaiting now they're presenting the awards over in the far corner for a previous weight class. So we're going to move to 160, and we're going to move down to Steve down on the Matt side.
We've got Marcus Peterson. We're starting to develop themes down here. We've got another Sumner wrestler, another guy who took second at state last year. Marcus, congratulations on your victory today. Tell me a little bit about that match. It's got to be a little frustrating for you when you keep getting those blood stoppages. How do you keep yourself focused while you're waiting around for that?
Yeah, it's difficult. It gets me out of my rhythm a little bit, but as long as I keep myself warm, keep focused on the game plan, it doesn't affect me a whole lot.
It didn't take you out of your rhythm too much. It did just fine. So talk about the match a little bit. Did you know anything about him coming into the match?
I know one of my teammates wrestled him earlier this year, got a few tips from him. But just to execute my own game plan, I wasn't too worried about anything that he would do. I just stick to my game plan no matter the opponent. So.
Is it a little bit exciting when you get to wrestle a guy who is from the host school of a tournament? You know you're a little bit of the road underdog, if you will, in terms of having the attendance in the crowd. It's got to be kind of something that gets you guys fired up, I would think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. We host a tournament, too, and it's that same atmosphere. I know what it's like to have the home crowd supporting you, so it definitely gave me a little more extra motivation knowing that he had a couple more fans in here than I did. So.
When you've got guys like Austin and CJ wrestling at similar weights, do you guys work out a lot together, or do you guys ever get a chance to wrestle against each other in practice? What's that like?
It's great competition. They're who's made me who I am today, for sure, as a wrestler. Just wrestling with them for the past, 7-8 years, in season, out of season, has been great, and I've really enjoyed working with them. And they're definitely lifetime friends because of it. So.
Yeah. It's your senior year. You've got an 8th place finish at state, a 6th, second last year. What would it mean for you to be able to get a state championship and to put that on your resume before it's all said and done?
Yeah, absolutely, that's the goal. Not too focused on results, just excited to wrestle my best on a daily basis, and that's my daily goal. So, yeah, absolutely.
And we've been having a little fun with it all day, and we had a chance to talk to both Austin and CJ about it. It sounds like there's a trip to the Bonnie Lake Denny's in your future. What are you going to order off the menu? Do you eat beforehand? Do you snack on the bus on the way down? What's going on?
Definitely just saving my appetite for Denny's. I get the $8 French toast slugger every time. It's a good hearty meal, eggs, sausage, French toast, so that's what I'm looking forward to after this.
He even knows the price of the meal. I love it. And by the way, Josh St. Marie, who is a former state champion, is on the broadcast today. Says that the French toast is the go-to. Is that the meal of champions?
Consensus opinion is French toast over anything else.
What does he put on top of it?
He wants to know what you put on top of your French toast.
On top of my French toast, if I'm at home, peanut butter and syrup, but at Denny's it's powdered sugar and syrup. That's about all I need. So
he's got it all figured out. He knows exactly what he's ordering. He knows the cost. He's saving up his meal, and he's a champion here today. Hey, congratulations on what you did here at the Panther Classic, and best of luck to you the rest of the way. You excited for Ellensburg next week?
I'm excited. It's gosh, just more matches is the key right now, and I'm keep excited to continue to wrestle matches. So
best of luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
There we go. Thanks very much. And we move on to 160, and it's Riley Van Scoy out of Stanwood against Sam Rush out of Arlington. Both won by falls, by pins in their opening round, and already a Riley Van Scoy 5-0 lead here with 45 seconds to go in the opening period.
Yeah, it's about to be an 8-0 lead if. Oh.
No, it's about to be a win, right?
That's a pin, yep.
So Riley Van Scoy makes pretty short work of Sam Rush out of Arlington. So your Stilly Cup of Wrestling goes to a pin for Riley Van Scoy out of Stanwood. Van Scoy comes in the #1 ranked 3A wrestler in the state of Washington.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, he's a two-time state placer. He took 3rd in 2017 and 4th in 2018. And he's an off-season wrestler as well. He went and he's a 3-time national champion in freestyle or folk style, 7th at Fargo, and wrestles on the national stage quite often. So.
And I'll tell you what, I don't care what kind of medal they give you. He's wearing a Superman medallion now. You can't quite see him yet because the coach is in the way. And he's turning away, but he's going to turn back around. We're going to see. Steve, you're going to ask him about the Superman medallion.
Oh, you think I'm going to let that one slide without asking? Absolutely. First question. And there's plenty to talk about with Riley.
Yeah, he gets that from his team or himself. That's not something they give out here at the tournament, so I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear about that.
So the S doesn't stand for Snohomish. Is that what you're saying?
Could stand for Stanwood.
It could be Stanwood. Or it could be Superman. He looks like it out there, right?
Yeah, it was pretty quick there, the win over Sam Rush. And he's heading over into the bullpen area. He'll go over by Steve here in just a little bit. They're going to hand out some medals as well as she's going out in the hallway. So,
man, even as the winning wrestler, I never really liked matches that went that quick. You know, even if I pinned him really quick,
if I got to drive this far, we might as well.
It's a little bit of a letdown for me as a wrestler.
Well, you know, we had a chance to talk to Mason Phillips last year a few times, or over the last couple of years, and Mason was one of those wrestlers, one of the best in the nation, and he talked about that with us, about how at times he almost kind of played cat and mouse with his opponents just so he can get a little wrestling in, because for him, like you said, Josh, I mean, if you go out there and you pin somebody in 12 or 15 seconds, there's not a lot of joy in that, is there? Time and time again.
Yep, and as the wrestler, you know, especially early on in tournaments, that will happen if you're the first seed, second seed, and you're against a little bit less of an experienced wrestler. You can beat them really quick. And my strategy was always, I'm going to try and get my sweat. You know, even if he's a little less experienced, I'm going to go and work my takedowns, work specific takedowns, specific moves. And so I can get my workout and keep my routine of warming up and going out there and having a good match.
Very good. We're awaiting the Riley Van Scoy. As that one went so fast, the consolation rounds are still going on here. So why don't we step aside for a break, and we'll come back. You're watching the 2019 Panther Classic Wrestling Tournament on STSPN.com.
Every year, thousands of groups depend on Adrenaline Fundraising to help reach their financial goals. Adrenaline Fundraising is about developing leaders through commitment, work ethic, and follow-through. Adrenaline has several products including gold cards, coupon books, cookie dough, donation programs, and many other options to help teams raise the funds needed for their programs. Adrenaline's new app called UpPay will help teams raise money while providing their supporters the ability to earn cash back on everyday purchases at places like Starbucks, Nike, Red Robin, and over 200+ national retailers. Adrenaline Fundraising is this season's sponsor of the STSPN's Play of the Game Award.
As records tumbled and enemies cried, came the birth of a legend. But we did not sleep. We did not rest. With knowledge gained and lessons learned, a legend was born to search and destroy. Respect the beast, but don't wake the monster.
Okay, Steve, Riley won so fast he disrupted the whole flow of the tournament.
Yeah, we had to take a break during that last match because Riley pinned his opponent within a matter of about a minute and a half. Talk a little bit about your match out there. Had you wrestled Sam before? I've got to think Stanwood, Arlington, you guys probably know each other a little bit, right?
I wrestled Sam in freestyle and Greco before, and I just kind of threw him around in freestyle and Greco. And then in folk style today, he took a low single, got my foot back, took another one, just defended it, got my points, and put him to his back, got near fall, let him go back. Turned him in a leg ride and pinned him.
Hey, I like that. We got a little play-by-play out of you there.
Got the whole thing.
How's your season going so far? I know you've gotten third at state in the past, fourth. We were just talking a little while ago about you being at Fargo this year. Talk a little bit about the national scene and how that's helped prepare you for this season at state.
Well, you know, just the camps and practices with like the upper level kids help you figure out better technique, work better. Like your work ethic is so much better. And your conditioning, like basically everything in wrestling that you need to win is improved with those practices. Like it's not just competitions or tournaments, like the practices is what really pushes it.
So if we were to have Riley Van Scoy, the junior, wrestle Riley Van Scoy, the sophomore, where would the junior have the biggest advantage?
Probably, well,
tough question.
Sophomore year, I mean, I would take some shots, but majority of what I did would be throws. Now this year, I don't do as many throws. I'm working on shots more than just throws. Like, yeah, I'll do them, but I'm more working on shots right now, and that's majority of my takedowns if I don't defend. So.
Sure, makes sense. And are you still wrestling outside of Stanwood as well? How busy are you these days with the wrestling world?
Yeah, I'm doing some club practices, and then just practice with some people. You know, like. There's a couple guys that graduated from college wrestling, and they'll come down on the weekends. I'll practice with them. So I'll help out in little kids' wrestling rooms, lift weights, run.
Pretty much 24/7 these days for you then.
Yeah, you could say that.
I can imagine. Now, again, third at state, fourth at state. I've got to think anything but first would be a disappointment for you this year. Is everything you're doing right now just trying to get yourself focused and ready to go? You never want to look too far ahead, but I've got to think with every match you're thinking Tacoma, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm on the top this year.
Fair enough. And I got to ask you one final question. We've been asking it all day. You've been here all day long. You've had all these matches. Do you get to go home and junk out now a little bit? What kind of food are we eating tonight?
Sorry, say that again?
What kind of food are we eating tonight? What's on the dinner menu?
Anything that has sugar that's really fat.
I like it. What is your go-to?
I don't know. Ice cream, tacos, pizza, shakes, whatever you name it. I'm eating.
So it's not just the sugar menus either then. Well, hey, again, go ahead and enjoy it tonight. You've earned it, and best of luck to you at Tacoma this year.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
There we go. Thanks very much, Steve, with Riley Van Scoy of Stanwood. Anything sugar and fat sounds like our regular diet here. Now, here's a real difference here. We've got Nate Carnicle of Sumner we've got Jose Flores of Decatur, both winners in the semifinals. They're here in the finals of the Panther Classic. You couldn't have two more different body types.
Yeah, they're very different. Jose Flores, who's a freshman from Decatur, he's got that short and stocky frame, whereas Nathan Carnicle from Sumner, who is a senior and state participant, he's got that tall, lanky frame. It's like me out there with a tall guy.
Well, you didn't look like that, by the way, because at 170 pounds, Jose Flores, Decatur and Sumner, both from King County, Central or South King County. Carnicle comes in with a win over Westview's Kevin Zakula. Flores got a win over Christian Fairbanks. Fairbanks came in out of Arlington as the number 8 ranked 3A wrestler. Carnicle is number 6 at the 4A. But Fairbanks loses to Flores.
He gets upset by the freshman Jose Flores, who
3-2 was the final.
Wow.
In the semis.
Well, Flores gets taken down by Carnicle fairly quickly in this match, but he just about got the reversal, and he doesn't seem to be phased working from behind.
And so the Sumner Spartan on toppers, they move back to the center of the mat.
Yeah, Jose Flores trying to hit that switch, but Carnicle took his left elbow out, put him right back on the mat.
He's going to try to force him over. A 2-0 lead for Carnicle of the Sumner Spartans. And just a few matches remaining here. We're at 170. Then the jump to 182 next, then 195. Couple of the 200s, and we're done for the Panther Classic. And
Jose Flores tried to work a little bit of a roll there to get a reversal, and gets caught and put on his back.
Yeah, he's in trouble here.
Yep.
But he got his leg swung over, which he's going to get 3-point near fall points. Will Carnicle out of Sumner.
Looks like they gave him 2-point near fall, which means his shoulders were only 45 degrees or closer to the mat for 2 seconds, between 2 and 5 seconds.
So the lead is 4-0 as we move to the second period. And Flores out of Decatur comes in on top, and off we go. Second round.
Yeah, Carnicle up right away. He didn't get an escape because they never came apart, but
close there, still not.
Yet Flores still has control. And there you go. The 2-point reversal for Carnicle.
And that gives them a 6-0 lead.
Yep.
30 seconds into round 2.
Yeah, for a moment there, it looked like Carnicle had regained control, but he didn't have control of the hips. He didn't have Flores' back turned. So, and since they never became neutral, the referee considered Flores to still be on top, even though it looked like Carnicle had the upper hand. He's got to actually take over a position like controlling the hips, put him on his back in order to get that reversal.
Down to 1 minute to go in round 2 at 170 in the Panther Classic. Flores out of Decatur in the gold.
Flores is going to get in trouble here if he doesn't get off his belly. There he goes.
You can tell Carnicle's strong.
Yeah.
So they'll say off the mat. And Carnicle on top with 27 seconds to go in the second round at 170.
Yep. Jose Flores he's got a motor. You can tell as he gets older, he's going to be a formidable wrestler. But you're right, Carnicle does look like he's got some strength on him.
You use the phrase they use in football a lot too, high motor. He's got a motor.
Yep.
Well, also I think his body will develop. He could probably go down a classification.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty strict about what classifications you can wrestle.
Right.
Based on where you start the season. They test your hydration level and then weigh you and tell you exactly the 2 weight classes you're allowed to wrestle on any given week.
Any given week?
Yep. Yep. So let's say you wrestle at 138.
Right.
Let's say you weigh in at 138, and they'll test your hydration level and your body fat percentage, and then they will give you a two weight classes you can wrestle based on those measurements. It'll be 132 pounds and 138, or whatever it is that they determine.
Right.
And then if you're
who's they?
WIA, they've built these regulations of a chart. You know,
right.
If these are your numbers, this is what you can.
Right.
This is what you can wrestle. And that can change over the season, but if those numbers go down, you still can only wrestle those 2 weights. It moves down to 125 and 132.
And that's probably based there. I'm guessing there's a national, standard as well. The state will adopt what the national people have done as well, right?
Well, the reason is it goes back to cutting weight.
Right.
Yeah. Back in my dad's day, I heard stories from his friends, not him, but his friends, that they would spit in cups and wear plastics and.
Yeah, you're wearing the hefty garbage bags and running laps, right?
And just dehydrate your body, wring your body out of water like a sponge, which is not very healthy. And kids would cut from 125 pounds down to 103.
Right.
Which is absolutely not healthy. So putting these regulations make sure kids stay relatively stable with their weight.
Now, if we're going to move to the end of this match, is going to be a big win here. Nate Carnicle, a 10-0 win over Jose Flores. But as you mentioned, Jose Flores, a freshman.
Yep. And this is a good experience for Jose Flores to be out here, have the spotlight on him, and get to experience the big hoopla of it, come out and wrestle on the center mat in front of everybody for finals. It's sets him up to expect to be here and have that mentality that he's going to be a winner.
Yeah, Nate Carnicle, the win. Yeah. Carnicle's already there. Steve, you're not there. Nate Carnicle's waiting for you. That's him there. So
these guys are getting so good they know to even come on over here ahead of time. So perfect. I had to go find out about the Superman chain a second ago. It's a team chain for Stanwood, but right now we're talking to a different type of Spartan. It's a Sumner Spartan. Nate, quite the match there. We were talking about it. You and Jose, very different builds. What's that like for you when you're out there going against somebody who's a little shorter and stockier?
It's a little limiting at times, but you have to know who you're going against and what you have to put yourself at advantage. So I've wrestled short and stocky guys before. I know what I do well with a short and stocky guy, and I use that to win.
Does it change the way you have to go take the approach to wrestle him? I mean, what's different for you?
I usually go more on the head. I kind of use my length more against him compared if I'm wrestling a guy my own size, use my speed. But in a match like that, where I'm confident in my own style and applying my knowledge of short and stocky guys, it just overall blends well with it.
Now, it was North Puget Sound versus South Puget Sound just now. Have you wrestled Jose in the past? I know he's only a freshman, so a little bit different there, but do you tend to see those guys a little more being on the south end?
No, not often, especially we travel more eastern areas. Like, we were supposed to go to Spokane, but that got canceled, and that's why we ended up wrestling in the finals. So, no, but there are possibilities, and it's good to see the guys around this area.
And definitely. And for you guys, 4th champion of the day from Sumner, are you guys pretty competitive amongst each other? How does that work? I know we've seen you guys supporting one another in terms of the tunnel running out and everybody's cheering on everybody else. But how competitive is it within your own room, within your own team?
It gets to the point where it's like every day is a competition, whether who's drilling harder or who's hitting the best shots every day. it's good though because it keeps us focused. In the past years, we haven't gotten what we wanted. I want to be a state placer last year. CJ and Marcus want to be state champs, and it helps us with that chip on our shoulder to really be competitive more in the off hours in the practice room.
Well, I've got to think that bus ride home when you know that they've already got 3 other guys that have titles for the tournament. You don't want to be left out at that point, right?
No, absolutely not. It's going to be a fun night. After we get home, we're going to celebrate, but come Monday, it's back to business.
Speaking of celebrating, we've already been told from your predecessors here earlier tonight, Bonnie Lake Denny's is where it's at apparently this evening. Are you going to be eating on the way down first? Do you snack a little? Do you cheat before you get to Denny's?
Probably drink a lot of water, then get that all-you-can-eat pancakes for $4.
Oh, you're a pancake guy. Your teammates are all French toast guys, so what is it about the pancakes that you enjoy?
I'm just a pancake guy. That's all it is.
He's my guy.
Sorry, Josh. There we go. Hey, go enjoy the pancakes, enjoy the bus ride home, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You see, Josh, I'm a pancake guy.
Are you?
I am. Way more than French toast. 2-0 lead here as we're just underway in the 182. Christian Balmer out of Jackson won by pin over Michael Ray out of Decatur. And Bo Munley out of Westview, Oregon beat Levi Wiseman, and that was a disqualification of Wiseman. I think it was an injury, if I remember that, during the semifinals. And so we are underway here.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a tough match so far for Bo Munley. He got taken down, put to his back. He's down 5-0, and just got put to his back again for another 3 points. So Christian Balmer has a pretty solid lead here at 8-0.
Balmer, the Jackson Timberwolves, the 182 in the Panther Classic. Munley, Oregon 6A, number 6 ranked wrestler. He's a junior.
Yeah, Balmer, a senior. He did take 7th last year at state, so he's a returning state placer.
And the lead is 8-0
yeah, I mean, he's going to get 3 more near fall here.
So that is 11.
Can't believe it. Just
At least that's the rumor. You couldn't see it there for a second because the Oak Harbor wrestlers are making their way to the bus. They're done for the night.
Oh, not yet. Here they come.
So the lead is 11-0 for Balmer out of Jackson. But the Westview wrestler, Bo Munley, is not going to go easily.
Yeah, he actually
got a reversal.
Yep. Christian Balmer had a nice takedown from his feet, and Bo Munley noticed that he was just out of position and just raised his hips and got himself on top.
And another reversal goes to 15-2.
Yeah, and he's going to get 3 near. Oh, nope, didn't get any near fall. If he was awarded any near fall there, this match would be over.
So 1 point there goes to 15-3. 1 point for Munley out of Westview. Westview, Oregon, outside of Portland. And Westview is ranked number 10 in the Oregon 6A. They're the Wildcats, the Metro 6A in Portland. So they're
all right. So the match is over right here. Either he's going to pin him or he lets him up and gets 3 points, and the match is over.
Because it's a 14 now, but there's some pending near fall points. And Balmer trying to end it here. Not quite yet. At least 3, don't you think?
Yeah, and coach wants him to get that pin real bad. Get a couple extra team points.
Down to 13, down to 12 seconds. Down to 5-4, still looking. It's not going to happen. That will be that. And that will be it. 3-point near fall. It's going to be a major decision.
It's going to be a technical
fall.
fall.
Technical fall. Excuse me.
Yep. It's not a fall. It's not a pin. It's a technical fall. He won by more than 15 points, so they just stopped the match and award Christian Balmer the win.
Christian Balmer for the Jackson Timberwolves. And if I recall, Steve, Christian Balmer running back for the Everett Seagulls?
Yeah, you got that correct.
Okay, thank you. I thought I recognized the name.
You do indeed. We just watched him play football for the Seagulls just a couple months ago.
Okay. All right. And we'll hear from Christian Balmer here in just a moment as the other matches are going on. So in the consolation round. So let's step aside and we'll come back and we'll talk with Christian Balmer. We'll get the last couple of matches. Got 3 left here in the Panther Classic for 2019 on STSPN.com.
Did you know that Speedway Chevrolet is part of the Lee Johnson Auto family? That means 84 years of serving you the LJ way. Need a truck? We have the perfect truck to fit your needs. Half tons, 1 ton, 2-wheel drives, and 4-wheel drives. Our finance specialists are here to help you, whether you have good credit or bad credit. We're just off Highway 522 at West Main Street in Monroe.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
When you shop at Ace Hardware in Everett and Lake Stevens, we'll help you find what you're looking for and offer friendly advice too. Owners Greg and Christine are all about serving their customers and their community. They support local high school sports and many other community organizations and events. So the next time you need help with your to-do list or project around the house, bring it to Ace. They'll greet you at the door and help you find whatever you need fast. Show your support for locally owned businesses. Shop Ace Hardware just off Highway 9 in Lake Stevens and Evergreenway in Everett. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware folks.
We are all frustrated with the high cost of heating and cooling our homes. At GNS, we are completely changing the way you keep your home comfortable. Because we are Snohomish County's premier Lennox dealer, we can design a perfect system for you, one that will save you a lot of money on your utility bill. The Lennox Home Comfort System creates the ideal home environment. Enjoy innovation in every season with precise, quietly efficient.
And welcome back here to Snohomish High School, the Keith Gilbertson Senior Sports and Fitness Center. The Panther Classic for 2019, the final 3 matches coming your way here. We had a win for Christian Balmer of Jackson, and we'll be talking with him, with Steve down Matt's side here in just a little bit. Still to come 195, 220, and 285, and the Panther Classic will be all done here for 2019. They're going to introduce here the 195s coming up, and haven't seen Christian Balmer yet, but Steve will find him. So coming up here for Snohomish, it'll be Ryan Douglas, who won by pin over Blake Doss out of Timberline. Ryan Douglas, the number 9 ranked wrestler at 195 in Class 3A, state of Washington. And then Will Whitby out of Sumner, another Sumner wrestler. He beat Ian Foucher out of Kamiak with a fall at 241. So a couple of guys that won by pin in the semifinals, wrestling here at 195. Again, Douglas of Snohomish, Whitby of Sumner. And they're going to introduce them as we mentioned at the outset here, they turn off the lights. Sumner runs the tunnel as they come out.
Yeah, Tom, these 2 seniors take this thing seriously. You know, they don't have a whole lot of these tournaments left. Making the finals is a big deal, and they're pumped for this.
Whitby through the tunnel he comes, and he's ready to go. I like that. Kind of reminds me at Lake Stevens in their football. When they're done, they put up a big tunnel of players along the track, and they all run through that. It's kind of exciting. Not kind of exciting, it's very exciting.
It is exciting. Wrestling's a very individual sport. However, the team aspect is incredibly underrated. When you have a team that sticks together, cheers together. You know, I remember when I was younger watching my older brothers wrestle at Snohomish High School. They used to have a tradition where they would all get together. Nobody's sitting on the bench. They would all get together and cheer their guy out to the mat. And that was pretty special. You know, I always wanted to go wrestle for teams that did that. You know, I wanted to be a part of that kind of group.
So underway here, Ryan Douglas out of Snohomish in the red. Will Whidbey, another Sumner Spartan. He's wrestling in the purple.
Sumner looks like a fun team to wrestle for right now, but Douglas took him down right to his back.
And it may be a hometown guy that may get a win here. And there he does. Ryan Douglas out of Snohomish wins by pin over Will Whidbey out of Sumner. So I don't know if that means that Will Whidbey doesn't get to go to the Bonnie Lake Denny's or not. But he has to sit in the back of the bus on the way home. And so that will be that. Short work at the 195, Ryan Douglas out of Snohomish. Of course, coming in ranked at number 9 in the state 3A. He's got pretty good aspirations, I'm guessing, for the T-Dome.
Yep. I'm sure he wants to get there on the podium, top 8. It's a pretty special feeling at the end of the day in February, being on that podium, getting a medal. And it's good for Snohomish to get a hometown finals victory, first of the night for them.
And from Jackson, it was Christian Balmer who got the win at 182, and he is with Steve Willits.
He is indeed, and Christian just broke a streak. I don't know if you guys realize this. We had 5 consecutive champions who were Spartans.
Oh, yes.
4 of them were Sumner. 1 of them was Snohomish. Now we get a Timberwolf up here. Christian, and you made it look kind of easy. I'm guessing it wasn't as easy as it looked out there, right?
No, not at all. No match can be easy. I mean, it's just part of the sport. You know, nothing comes easy.
And when you're wrestling guys from Oregon, I've got to think you don't exactly have a scouting report either, right? Did you know anything about him going in?
I didn't really have any idea. I mean, I'm friends with Levi. He wrestled him before. He kind of gave me a little insight. But other than that, really, you just never know with kind of out-of-state guys.
Go out there and do your thing.
Yeah, just do your thing and just work your own technique.
Last year you were at Everett, now you're at Jackson, so you went from 3A to 4A. Does it change in terms of who you're looking at wrestling at the state level and also just around Wesco in general? Are you starting to learn new opponents along the way now? How much different is it for you this year?
Yeah, it's different. You know that it's not different. Like, wrestling's wrestling. You just got to work through your guys and just wrestle them like just any other guy you'd wrestle.
You've been in the Tacoma Dome. You took 7th last year. What would it mean to improve on that? How much does it kind of give you motivation once you get a taste of Tacoma when you haven't actually won the thing overall to aspire to do better?
Just that feeling. It just makes you want more. Like, you get, that small glimpse of glory, just winning your final match. You just want to come back for more and just start from that point.
You'll get a chance to do that now. And we've been asking the same question all day long to the champions, so we're going to ask you, although you don't have quite as far to drive. You've been here all day. You've wrestled all these matches. It's getting around dinner time right now. Anything planned for the what's on the Balmer plate for dinner tonight, or is there a little snack before dinner?
I think there's going to be a little bit of a snack. I mean, I really like fruit, so I might have a little bit of that. But my mom always has something good in the kitchen, and my dad too. So I'm looking forward to whatever they have for me waiting.
So you keep it healthy then?
Oh yeah.
No junk food, no celebratory sugars or anything like that?
No, I mean, really, the worst thing I drink or eat or anything is probably sparkling apple cider, probably. Yeah, I just try to keep it clean and everything. And again, in this sport, your diet's essential. It'll help you separate yourself so much farther from everybody else.
There you go. That's how he got to where he is, and that's why he is a Panther Classic champion. Christian, congratulations on the victory today, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Tom, I tell you,
yeah,
I did not have that kind of discipline.
No, I was with you a lot during those times. No, you didn't.
He's not.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
He's not going to be going to the Bonnie Lake Denny's, apparently.
That's a long way to go if you live in Everett and you're going to the Bonnie Lake.
Especially if all you're going to do is eat fruit and drink sparkling cider.
No, the amount of double quarter pounders I snuck in high school was
That's why you were cutting weight the whole time.
nauseating to think about. Oh, absolutely.
So we're waiting now for the consolation match to get under or to be over, and then we'll be moving to the 220. So just previously, Snohomish's Ryan Douglas got the win. We'll hear from him coming up here in just a couple of minutes as he's heading into the, well, in ice skating, they call it the kiss and cry. So, Steve, I don't think we're doing any kissing or crying in the down there in the interview area, are we?
I was talking to Ryan, so I missed the first part. All I heard is kiss and cry.
Well, that's what they call it in ice skating. When you go down there, they call it the kiss and cry.
Okay, yeah, we won't be doing any kissing or crying down here. And Ryan might have made his opponent cry earlier. You pinned him in less than a minute. I think it's the fastest we've had for the finals so far tonight. Tell us about the match. Did you know him at all going in?
No, I've never wrestled against him. A couple years ago, he wrestled Sumner, but it was a different guy. Really whooped on me. But I just got lucky. I got him down, and he tried to Peterson me and caught the wrist. Couldn't get it all the way through, and I just sank back.
Does it mean more when we look back here and we look at this banner? It's the Panther Classic. You're wrestling on your home turf here in your own gym. How much more does it mean for you to get a victory here today?
Oh, it means the world. We haven't had a home win for the Panther Classic in 4 years, I think. The last one was Wyatt Gardner. So home field advantage for sure. It just means the world to me and the team.
I'm guessing you knew that coming into today too, right? That's not something somebody told you after the fact? Extra motivation perhaps?
Yeah, definitely.
And how's it been for your teammates? A lot of support, obviously. I'm looking around the gym. I see a lot of Snohomish guys. What's it been like for you to have them supporting you here today and vice versa?
Well, it makes all the difference, Like, we're just one big family in our mat room, and we always have each other's backs, and it just means the world to see him up in the stands and on the other mat watching.
So I've been asking the same question over and over today, and I'm tired of asking the Sumner guys about the Denny's in Bonnie Lake. I want to know where a Snohomish guy goes to get a good meal after he's done wrestling on his home floor and gets a championship. Do you snack? Do you go home to eat? Are you heading out to a restaurant? Do you allow yourself junk food tonight?
I think Smucker's Uncrustable is my go-to for sure. It's my favorite. I love them frozen, just chewing on them all night.
Which flavor?
Grape jelly, of course.
The grape jelly. Hey, I think you've earned a few extras of those tonight. So, again, congratulations on the win at the Panther Classic. Kind of a big deal. And good luck. I know you were an alternate last year at State. What kind of aspirations do you have for Tacoma this year?
Obviously everyone hopes for the best, right? You want to be a champion, but my friend Dylan Meyer graduated a couple years ago, and he plays fifth, so fourth.
There we go. He'll take a top 4, maybe even better. Again, Ryan, congratulations on the victory today.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Steve. Thank you to Ryan. And he said something, Josh. He tried to Peterson me.
Yeah, that's one of those moves you can score off on bottom. Generally, you want to stand up to your feet, but if you need to score a lot of points, you can try and hit a Peterson where you're starting on your hands and knees, and you grab his elbow and basically flip him onto his back, and you get the 2-point reversal and hopefully some near fall, and maybe even pin him if you can catch him.
Final 2 matches of the Panther Classic here for 2019, and it's the big boys now. 2:20 coming up. It's Anthony Perez out of Westview, Oregon. He won by pin at 43 seconds over Ethan Akers out of Kamiak, and a major decision winner, Samson Mitchell out of Decatur, beat Preston Barr out of Glacier Peak. Anthony Perez, the number 5 ranked 6A wrestler in the state of Oregon. And Samson Mitchell being introduced. And here he comes out of the Samson Mitchell Jr. And we're set to go. Anthony Perez will be in the blue with the red trim. Samson Mitchell out of Decatur. We've kind of seen a lot of Decatur wrestlers, and he is in the gold, and off we go.
Yeah, Tom, these are the real brave guys. They're out there throwing a lot of weight around. Some
yeah,
I would not want to be on the losing end of a throw by one of those guys.
Well, and one of the wrestlers, he talked about, well, last year I did a lot of throws, and I don't do those anymore. A little earlier with Steve. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, throws, kind of high risk, high reward type of move. And they're fun, they're flashy, but high risk, high reward. You can kind of put yourself on your back, but they're fun when you hit them, and so they're a little bit addicting. Less consistent of scoring than wrestling with legs and shooting for legs and things like that. But you see a lot of younger wrestlers who have learned throws in middle school or
right.
some of their off-season wrestling, who have a little bit of success with them and get addicted to that feeling of throwing a guy to his back. It's pretty fun.
This is the 2:20 in the Panther Classic. 50 seconds to go in round one. Anthony Perez out of Westview, Oregon in the blue, and with the advantage and the 2-point lead here as he gets the takedown over Samson Mitchell Jr. from Decatur.
Yeah, you saw Samson Mitchell Jr. there try to go for a head and arm. He was trying to throw him himself, and Perez was not having it. Just slipped behind and threw him down.
Down to 20 seconds to go in the period. The 1-point escape for Mitchell.
Where throws stay more relevant is in these upper weights, where they have a hard time changing their level and attacking the legs. You'll see.
You saw Mitchell just try to change his level, right?
Yep. But you got to have a certain amount of quickness to take a shot in on double legs, and that's more difficult the higher weight you go.
End of one. Perez with a 2-1 lead over Mitchell. We move into the second round. At 220, only the heavyweight guys, the 285s, are left here on this first Saturday, traditional Saturday at Snohomish High School, the Panther Classic.
Yeah, I mean, you see Mitchell go on bottom there to start the round and right up to his feet right away to score his 1-point escape and then continue his dominance on his feet as he takes down Anthony Perez.
And moves out to a 5-1 lead with a minute and a half to go in the second period.
Yeah, Perez has got to get to his feet right away or maybe try that Peterson roll and put him on his back.
Well, Mitchell keeps trying to just swing himself around, but it's...
Yeah, well, the one initiating the movement there is Anthony Perez. He's on bottom, sitting out, getting to his hands and knees and almost trying to reach back and grab a leg. But Mitchell's doing a good job of following him and getting back to the hips. Though Mitchell's got to break him down, and there you go.
Here we go. Perez looking to put him on his back and get the win. Leading a 5-1, 44 seconds to go in the second period. And Samson Mitchell is in trouble, the Decatur wrestler.
Yeah, this is the moment for Perez where he's got to dig deep. Dig his feet into the mat, put his head up.
So Perez gets the win.
Oh, I had him flip. I'm so sorry.
Right. Welcome to the club. Yeah, Perez is the winner from Westview, Oregon, and he wins it over Samson Mitchell out of Decatur. So the Wildcat beats the Gator. I think I'd take the Gator if in a real
but not
wildlife fight.
I had him switch there, but Perez, really a dominant match. Full control that whole match and ends up turning him and pinning him.
Should we talk to Todd Elvick about that? Can we arrange that for next year? A Wildcat and a Gator?
Yeah.
Be good TV.
Pay-per-view, though, that one. For sure that would be pay-per-view. So we'll hear from Anthony Perez out of Westview in just a moment. And 285's all that's left. Angel Omar Blas will be coming up against Misa Marin out of O'Day. And we're waiting for the consolation match to get over, so we will take a break, and we will come back and wrap it up here from the 2019 Panther Classic on STSPN.com. Let's go to Steve, who's down there with our previous winner out of Westview, Anthony Perez.
All right, we are with Anthony Perez right now from Oregon. Talk a little bit about that. Coming up here for an event like this, out of state, is it kind of exciting for you guys?
It's nothing much, it's just wrestling. Don't think. Doesn't matter what state I am, I'm just going to wrestle.
And when you have that long bus ride home, it makes it a little easier when you get the victory too, doesn't it?
Right.
Talk a little bit about your match today. What was the final like for you? It looked like you made it look relatively easy. I'm sure it never is, but tell us a little bit about your finals.
I mean, there wasn't really too much to it. I just got to do my offense, work my stuff. I mean, I've come back from an injury on my neck, so I was kind of nervous about my shots because he's a little beefier than I am. But I just kept penetrating, and then I realized he tried to throw me. So I just countered that, lunged it up, and then took my shot, and then I realized I got to end the match quick, so went to his back.
You talk about wrestling being wrestling, but now it's Oregon, it's Washington. What is the wrestling scene like in Portland, and how does it compare a little bit to Washington from what you've been able to see?
It's Metro League, so they're state champions at 6A. I mean, Washington is definitely tougher, but I don't know, it's not really too much of a difference, to be honest.
And hey, a victory is a victory, and you got one today. Congratulations. We have been asking the same question all day. I know you look like a fitness guy, but do you allow yourself to have a little junk food after a big championship victory like that?
I mean, not really, but I eat whatever, to be honest. But fast food, I don't eat.
So what's on the agenda for their bus ride home? Do you snack on the way home, or are you guys going to stop to eat on the way back to Oregon? What's the plan, do you know?
Just eat my leftovers I have.
And what does that consist of? Any sugar, any fats, or is it all healthy?
I mean, it's mainly dairy and protein, so like cream cheese, peanut butter, bread. That's about it.
Well, enjoy it. You've earned it today. And again, congratulations on winning the Panther Classic.
Thank you.
So here we go at 285. The big boys are ready to go. From the O'Day Fighting Irish, Misa Marin and Angel Omar Blas out of Westview, Oregon. And Omar Blas out of Westview won in a pin in about 4 seconds. He in the over Nicholas Garza out of Kamiak in the semifinals. Duncan King, the victim of Misa Marin, a 4-3 decision in the semis as well.
That is an incredibly fast pin for. I'm not sure if that's a typo or not, but.
I think Todd needs to give me new batteries for my earphones. I thought you said 4 seconds.
Well, that's what it said on the
wow.
On the bracket information, but I'll.
That's remarkable. That means he took him down and had his shoulders down on the mat for more than a second, all within 4 seconds of starting.
Now, I may be wrong.
I hope you're not. I think that's fantastic. Josh, you were a state champion. What's the fastest pin you ever had?
Under 30, more than 15, not close to 4 seconds. That's for sure.
Of course, the internet's not showing me anything now, so.
But I mean, it is possible, especially with guys in the 285-pound weight class. They throw a lot, you know. It's possible he just shook hands, stepped into a head and arm or a double straight to his back and called the pin.
So this is Angel Omar Blas out of Westview in the blue to our right now, trying to shoot down for the legs.
And guys, I just went over and talked to Kevin Jutkins from Glacier Peak, the athletic director.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was not 4 seconds. It was 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Oh, I left off the 1. That's still pretty fast.
Still, you know, halfway into the first round, pretty dominant performance.
And halfway, well, actually with 15 seconds to go in the first round here in the final match of the day, we're 0-0.
I tell you, if it was 4 seconds, I'm sure we could have seen that on YouTube later tonight.
Well, there goes my first interview question anyway.
And there goes the end of the first period in a 0-0 tie.
Yeah, I mean, here's where looks like the O'Day wrestler, Vidrio, won the toss and looked to his coaches, and they wanted to defer. Deferred over to the Westview wrestler, who chose down. He's probably going to try and get to his feet right away. and score that escape and be up 1-0.
He does almost get to his feet. He almost lifted him up with him. No change, though,
Nice.
right?
You see that motor going?
Yeah.
That's the idea of being on bottom. You want to pull the trigger and don't stop moving because it's so hard to stay on a guy.
So Vidrio and Blass tied 0-0.
Yep, and
go ahead.
the Westview wrestler definitely wants to score here. Oh, and he gets the reversal.
So 2 points on the reversal. He's going to get some near fall points.
Yep. This is not looking good.
Exerting his will, say, hey, how much more do I need to do? The official's right down there saying, not yet, not yet, not yet. It's got to be at least 3 anyway. And there you go. And there is the pin for Angel Omar Blas out of Westview. Gets the pin and the win over Misa Marin
and Tom,
Vidrio.
he started on bottom.
Right.
The Misa Vidro looked over his coaches, deferred, and the Westview wrestler started on bottom, got a reversal right to his back, locked him down for the pin.
And so that will end the Panther Classic. We'll try to hear from the champion here of the heavyweights, and we will be done for 2019 here. So at the end of a match when you'd be all done and win, lose, whatever, was it always satisfying? Or were there sometimes it's like, could have done better, I should have done this? Do you think back on all your matches or just the last one?
I would think back on my matches throughout high school and say they were seldom satisfying. I always walked away feeling like I could have done more. The last one was obviously very satisfying, and there were a few here and there that were pretty satisfying. But whenever I lost, I was never satisfied, and much of the time that I won,
right,
I was not satisfied.
Tell him he can do it from right there if he wants.
You can do it right there, Steve, if you want to. Steve made his way over there. I think they're going to go over to the kiss and cry. So we'll hear from Steve here, and we will end it. Don't have a indication for the team title, but the team points comes from every one of these matches, right? Not just the championship.
Absolutely. You can have 0 guys in the finals, and you can win the team championship. You actually, if you lose early on in the tournament, you will wrestle more matches than if you win. In a 16-man bracket, 4 wins gets you the title.
Right.
And that may include a bye, it may not. But if you lose, you're going to wrestle upwards of 5, 6, even more matches on a 2-day tournament to wrestle out the consolation bracket. So there's a lot of points to be had by getting major decisions, by getting technical falls, by getting pins, and racking up those team points in the consolation bracket.
Let's go down to Steve.
We are with Angel Omar Blas right now, the champion of the 285 for the Panther Classic. How does that feel? You wrap up this tournament with a victory.
It feels amazing. It feels like a lot of hard work that we put in and dedication has really paid off. And everything is a really big blessing. I'm really stunned right now because it's just incredible how far we can come from nothing to something. It was great. It was amazing.
And that wasn't an easy match for you either, right? That was quite the battle. Talk about it a little bit.
It was difficult. On top he was heavy. He was definitely putting his hips in, and he was getting me good. But like I said, anything happens in a given moment, so you don't give up until the whistle stops. So it was great. It was amazing.
Talk about traveling and going to a wrestling tournament. A little bit harder than if you were able to sleep in your own bed and eat at home that day. What's it like when you have to get up, hop on a bus, travel for a few hours, and then come out to a tournament like this?
We got up pretty early. We came here, it was 3 hours drive. We said our hotel was fun. The coaches really make it really marvelous for us to come to these tournaments and have an opportunity like this. It's really amazing for what they do for us. So I don't really mind it. Wherever we go, we just show out.
And wrestling against guys you've never seen before, is that exciting for you, or would you rather have a little familiarity with them?
No, I love going against different opponents because it gives me different perspective, and it gives me a little bit of different things to see when I do go to the state and I do go against other people that have that same similarities.
we talk about state around here. We always mention the Tacoma Dome. For you guys down in Oregon, you're trying to get to the Memorial Coliseum, correct? Fourth place last year at state. First of all, what does that look like? How many mats out on the floor there? For those of us who have never been down to the Oregon State tournament.
I mean, it's a big column. It's like 8. I think it's like 8 from like 2A, no, from 1A to 6A. So it's a pretty big coliseum to fit a lot of good wrestlers in there. So that's definitely phenomenal seeing.
And you took fourth last year. The guys that finished first, second, and third, are they back again this year? What are you aspiring to do this year?
I mean, the finalist that was in the finals last year, he's still back. He's a senior like me. But I seen him already. It was a tough match. But I'm going to see him again, so hopefully it goes well for me. You know, this time it's a lot where it's like you're not done until you're done. It's not finished until you finish.
Absolutely. You get a chance again this year then. And I've got to ask the final question. We talked about it with a couple of your teammates earlier. We've been asking it all day. You're done. It's been a long day for you guys coming down from Oregon. You're a big fella. Do you get a chance to eat before you get on the bus, or what are you guys doing? Are you having dinner on the way home? What's the game plan?
I think we're going in and out. I think we're definitely going out. Hopefully they take us in and out because I'm a big dude that just can't go without any food.
What's your go-to at In and Out?
A good chicken burger. A good chicken burger with some sauce. Oh my goodness.
Wash it down with a shake, soda. What are you looking forward to?
Lemonade. I'm a lemonade type of guy. Yeah.
Lemonade and a nice chicken burger, and you're good to go then.
Yeah, strawberry lemonade. That's amazing.
There we go. So our final meal of the night, and there it is, an Angel. You've definitely earned it. Hey, thanks for the conversation. Best of luck to you moving forward, and congratulations on being the Panther Classic champion.
No, thank you so much. I mean, these opportunities come from little things that I've believed in, and it all played out the best. I mean, I always tell myself I got to keep on pursuing no matter what happens, no matter what time is. It doesn't matter about the score. You keep on going until you don't have any breath. So it's amazing to see that, and it really helped me out today.
Tell me who this guy is behind you. Is that one of your friends there? We got somebody trying to get on camera there.
Oh, I don't know who that was. But he can definitely be my friend, you know.
He'll be friends with anybody. Hey, we enjoyed getting to know you and being your friend. So, hey, again, congratulations and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful night.
There you go. Thanks very much. Angel Omar Blas out of Westview. Josh St. Marie, thanks.
Yeah.
Been fun.
I'll be his friend any day. That's the kind of guy I want to be a friend with.
Go down, hug it out with him, and we'll be all done. Thanks to Todd Elvig for running things here for STSPN.com. Thanks to Steve Willits. For Josh St. Marie, I'm Tom Lafferty. Steve, you have one more thing?
I didn't. I was just waiting to see where we were going. This was fun, though. I mean, again, appreciate Todd for all his hard work behind the scenes, and appreciate you guys for what you're doing. And, hey, couldn't ask for a better way to spend a Saturday, right? A lot of great wrestling and some really engaging personalities. Fun to kind of see these guys off the mat as well to kind of find out what they're made of.
So that is it. The 2019 Panther Classic Wrestling Tournament is all over. Thanks for being with us. Good night on STSPN.com.